me 1 second.
They done been to court. They went to court late yesterday. And then they went back to court because he was trying to actually JD Vance came out and said that the judges should not be their orders should not be followed.
That's what he said. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
How are you? I'm out here. Yeah, I know.
Church yesterday.
Wow. It was the end of Rose. I watched the Super Bowl. That's what I did.
2000.
You need to stop.
You were
Where is everybody at? Okay, I'm gonna deal with you. So, no, that's what I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's what it is.
The time is now 4:40 p.m. on Monday, February 10th. I call this Special Affairs Committee meeting to order. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Earl Alamin.
Present.
Ms. Lewis is not in. Ms. Priestley.
Present.
Ms. Winfrey Carter.
Present.
Ms. Burns.
Present.
Ms. Mashat.
Present.
Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett. Present. You have 6 members present.
We have 6 members present. It's now time for the reading of the disorderly person city code, the disorderly person city code subsection. Any person that persists in disrupting this meeting will be in violation of Flint City Code Section 31-10, disorderly conduct, assault and battery in disorderly persons, and will be subject to arrest for a misdemeanor. Any person who prevents the peaceful and orderly conduct of any meeting will be given 1 warning. If they persist in disrupting the meeting, that individual will be subject to arrest. Violators will be removed from the meeting. Are there any requests for agenda changes and/or additions? Seeing as how there are no requests for, Councilwoman in the 4th Ward.
Yes, we have add-on number 1. Resolution approving the appointment of Joyce Ellis McNeil to the Citywide Advisory Council.
She's already on there.
Oh, okay.
It's Resolution 250037-T.
Thank you very much.
You're more than welcome. Are there any more requests for agenda changes, additions, or agenda changes or additions? Seeing as how there are no more requests, it is now time for public speaking. Members of the public who wish to address the City Council or its committees must register before the meeting begins. A box will be placed at the entrance to the council chambers for collection of registration. No additional speakers or slips will be accepted after the meeting begins. Members of the public shall have no more than 3 minutes per speaker during public comment, with only 1 speaking opportunity per speaker. First public speaker, Madam Clerk.
First speaker is R.L. Mitchell.
Hello, public. I'm R.L. Mitchell. And for the record, through Candace Mashat, through the city attorney, welcome back. Because while you was gone, the city clerk called us up calling the shots. If she took one of your lawyers in the back room, we could have had 3rd Ward seat filled if it wasn't for the city clerk. And we the people glad you back in your rightful place seat, because we know you're gonna do a good job like the late Barbara Gripson did over there by Channel 12, Black Indian, and she always said, her Indian called, I can't hardly do what she said, but like I say, I'm Renegade R.L. Mitchell. Because I say renegade, because the Indians got their money, but you never saw a black man have his money yet. But I noticed in Flint, the Indians down there on the bridge, they told Paleface, don't dig another further. I thought that was, whoa, really American. Who own America now? I mean, they already did own America. We got real Indians in this town, over there by the bridge, where Martin Luther King Bridge. But enough to talk about the Indians, but talk about this situation in the Hassel Center. Ward 1 said he can't do nothing else because they got up and walked away with the deeds of and right now nobody owns, and that's poppycock stuff in it, because Ward 1 over there, like oh my God, he meditating. I can't call his name. I can't hardly announce the name. That's why because I'll be saying Idi Amin. That's what I always come out my mouth about, Idi Amin. You know what Idi Amin done to his people. Anyway, talk straight to the public, straight to the point about Philadelphia. Get ready, Tanya, because you're finna get another Nobel Peace Prize, because everything you do, you just like Barbara Griffiths. You do stuff right and you win the case, and they never show up, and when they show up, they ready to fight Tarzan. Like Harry, his name, anyway, The Red Rooster ain't showed up yet, but she will be here, and that's Ward 2. I can't think of their names right now. Anyway, we the people's gonna get our money no matter what. Because 3 years, we ain't got nothing after we got poison and kicking maize in the butt and for open up hassle. Now you talking about we attack on every senior citizen in this town just stay tuned to New York and see how we deal with these peoples in here. Take that.
Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is Rose Morrow.
Hello, everyone. I'm Rose Morrow, and I reside in the First Ward. I want to speak to you guys about a couple matters. First, I want to speak to you about Hasselbrain. This is a sad situation, and I know we're all tired of it. The citizens don't want change. At first, we were told that it wasn't going to close, that nothing was going to change. Ms. Beverly Lewis, the executive director, was going to be there. Then it came back and said, the center's not closing, city's taking it over, and it's just going to be up under new management. That's not what we want. They have been in compliance with everything. They have been doing an outstanding job, and the staff there, and the volunteers. But for some reason, I don't know why, and I'm not gonna sit and say different stories of what I've heard, they wanna make change. But that's not what we want. I'm respectfully asking you guys to negotiate, communicate with each other. We understand that the city council's divided. But if you guys could just for once work together and help us keep the 501c3 in place. And again, they've been doing an outstanding job. Now, it's 4 and 4, we all know that. But we all understand there's something the mayor wants, there's something somebody wants. So we're just asking if you guys could use the word negotiate, because Hasselbrain is important, and it means a lot to us. If you could please bring the lease back, negotiate it, or pass it until 2026, and then we can negotiate some more then. We need to get this right. It's wrong what's being done. The second matter I want to speak about is St. Mark's and Bethel. They are doing what Christians are supposed to do. They are helping to feed the community, not just the immediate community around them, they feed the entire city. I don't know how many of you, and I think some of you, and I believe Councilman Burns have actually volunteered and helped up at the church before. I think I heard that from her before in one of her shows. But how many of you have actually went and volunteered at St. Mark or Bethel to see what they do? Don't take the food, everything else is getting passed. Don't take the food out of kids and seniors and families' mouth. If you go up there and see how long that line is, you'll see we need it. The community needs it. So please, if you can, pass, the funds are there. Pass Bethel and St. Mark's and help Hasselbrain. And we are respectfully asking you guys to do that. Thank you.
Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is Billy Dantzler.
Good evening, Council, community members. My name is Billy Dantzler, and I reside in the 6th Ward. I live right across the street from Bethel United Methodist Church, and also in the past, I have definitely volunteered at the church. So I'm here to encourage Council to support two important community issues: funding for food access for St. Mark and Bethel, and the lease for Hasselbrain Senior Center. My aunt, who resides in the 6th Ward, my aunt and uncle, they go to Hasselbrain quite often. And I've also been up there, and I haven't seen Hasselbrain sell any liquor or anything that would put Hasselbrain in jeopardy for the services that they provide to our seniors. Each of these initiatives are important to their specific wards, first and second, but they affect residents in all wards throughout the city. I am asking all council persons, all of you guys, to please vote yes to fund these programs. With Hasselbring, Judge Hammond required that Hasselbring and the city do everything possible to resolve the issue with the lease. The only way to accomplish this is for it to be brought back to council to vote on once again. Councilman El Alamin has been asked to lead the charge in having the lease placed back on the agenda. I am asking the councilman personally to request the lease to be back on the agenda and for all council persons to please vote yes to approve this lease. So we're asking you, I'm asking you as a community member, Mr. Alamin, because if Mr. Mays was still here, this would not be an issue. And I'm not trying to compare you to Mr. Mays, but you are fulfilling his duties because of his untimely death. So we're asking you, do not put this community in this situation. We need your vote. We also need your vote for Ms. Beverly Biggs for 3rd Ward councilperson. So I'm asking you as a community member, I'm asking you, be your own person, be your own man. You made the decision last week to vote for her. Keep that. That's your word, what you voted for. I don't know about the other council people, but I want you to stick with Miss Beverly Biggs because she deserves that 3rd Ward seat. Thank you. Oh, and Tanya, you my council person, and I appreciate you. Have a good one.
Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is Ms. Taylor.
Good evening, Council. This is Black History Month, and I'm really proud to be a black woman here. I really am. But I'm not proud of what some council people are doing to the elders at Hasselbrink. We already know, those of you that are not looking at me have some issues. And Judy, last week when you said things about Mr. Jones, shame on you. You need to not stop doing that stuff. You need to watch what you say. Miss Beverly Biggs, I honor you. You've won this position 2 times. You've won it through the electorate on the 3rd Ward, and you won it last week, but I'm telling you, there's some corruption or something going on here. And council, all of you, St. Mark's Church certainly deserves the money that you're withholding from them. You can't hold churches in hostage. This is my friend at this church. And go to meetings with some of the pastors at this church, because we see you out there and who you're with. Shame on you for doing that. You know, I really want to come to council meeting one time and not just talk about unhappy things. I really would like to come to council and uplift, like I want to uplift Hasselbrink. Give them the lease that Mayor Weaver had. It's $1. Come on, y'all. Can you do that? It's serious. It's so simple. The importance of senior citizen centers to seniors, I went today, is for us to get out of the house. If you're in a 1-bedroom apartment and that's the only thing you have to do, then open it up for us. Make it happen. Stop threatening us or extorting us by saying, well, we'll put Mr. Mays' name on it. Put Mr. Mays' name on City Hall if you want to do something. Show him that you care. Don't be doing this kind of silly stuff to us. Show more respect. It's Black History Month, Judy. I'm expecting you to do more and better about the things that you say to the black community. And St. Mark's Church certainly deserves that ARPA money. Certainly deserves that. The city of Flint needs more churches and pastors that are like it. St. Mark's. I know you get to speak after I do, but I'm leaving because I don't want to hear you misinformation comments. Thank you.
Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
Next speaker is Woodson.
You can't get enough Woodsons. Hey, my name is Harold Woodson. I'm here on behalf of Bethel United Methodist Church. I'm the Community Development Coordinator at Bethel. Just share some information. I was out there this morning. We were passing out food. Lines around church at 12 degrees. We're at Bethel every Monday, rain, sleet, or snow, whether it's 9 degrees below or 90 above. And we do it because it's a ministry. I look back at some of my notes. We've been doing something in the city of Flint along these lines since 2014. From the time that we had different organizations bring water to Bethel before we had a steady stream. We've had donations from the Pentagon. We've had donations from Chicago, Cleveland, other people, and yet in my own city, I can't get the partnership. We need a partnership. This is a partnership. We're not doing it. I remember we were asked at the behest of the city to keep our doors open and pass our food during the COVID. And that's what we did. When a lot of places were shutting down, 2020, 21, 2022, we continued, and we still continue to give out food, water. We do nutritional. We've expanded to where we're also doing the primary test that everybody needs: blood pressure, cholesterol, blood sugar, A1C. These are all free programs, no cost. But if you would come out there on the Mondays, we're out there from 7:30 until the food is gone, and it's lined. And we have a variety of people that come through, all walks of life. I think we have the highest concentration of people that come through the neighborhood that all they can find is a shopping cart just to come up there and get something. And that's every week. Every week I say, well, okay, this has been going on for over 10 years. You would think that the need would have evaporated by now, but that's not the case. These people rely on us. We do it because it's a love ministry. We're just asking you, but there are expenses that we cannot continue to absorb to continue doing these great works. We're just asking that let this be a partnership between the city, Bethel. We have other help centers. You also have the one at Ashbury, and you have Great Holy Temple on Dordt Highway, but we're in the center of the city, right there on Ballinger, between Flushing and Mackin Road. And I think we have the highest concentration of people that come, that walk that. That's the only way they can get up there. And another thing, I don't know if a lot of people are aware, but we have a lot of non-English speaking people that are coming through our facility now. And that has increased over the last year and a half, where we have the non-English speaking population coming through. You know, I'm finding myself going to my phone trying to help interpret what they're saying so we can continue to service them as well. All right.
Thank you. Next public speaker, please.
Next speaker is Rosiah Thomas Anderson.
Ms. Rosia.
Thank you. I'm Rosa Anderson, and I'm a very active member at Bethel United Methodist Church. And I'm here in support of the Hasselbring issues and also St. Mark's. As you know, at Bethel, I don't want to repeat anything that Harold said, but as you know, we feed every Monday at Bethel United Methodist Church. But at that time, we don't only just give people food. We run off copies of all of the other resources that people can use from throughout the week or throughout the month. And also at Bethel, one of the things we do, we celebrate every holiday. And what I mean by every holiday, we also celebrate Black History. As of now, we have our parsonage is set up with Black History. And we invite schools, any group or any individual that would like to come and learn some more about Black history. We have that in our parlor. During the month of April, we celebrate Fair Housing Month. As you know, I am a former employee of the city. I worked in human relations, and the city and Bethel United Methodist Church was always co-sponsors of all of these programs. All of the programs that we did at Human Relations, if we didn't do it here at the city, we did it at Bethel United Methodist Church. At that time, we did not have to pay for any of the space that we used. If we used the church for 2 days, we still did not have to pay anything. So now we are asking you to help us do what we can do best for the community. As you know, we do the COVID testing 3 days a week. At one time and I think right now we're doing the flu testing. So Bethel is very active in the community. Everybody knows where Bethel is, and that's a good thing. And it also says that we've been a good service to the community. And we are asking you to help us continue to do this. I'm a little nervous. I don't do public speaking. But this is a cause that I felt that I should have to come out and ask for your support. And if you have any questions, Harold and I are here to answer them. I thank you for listening to me, and have a good evening.
Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is Percy Knapp.
Hello to all. My name is Percy Knapp. I'm the president of the House of Breen Senior Center Board of Directors. And I'm here to plead with each and every last one of you to bring this lease back to the floor. I'm charging Councilman Alameen to put a resolution on the floor to bring this lease back. We decided, since the mayor's office don't want to get no budge on the provisions in the lease that we signed, that I would rather have the lease signed and active rather than split the Hasselbrink family up, because this is going to destroy the family of the Hasselbrink, no doubt about it. Because I don't see how the mayor can come in and keep everything going smooth this day. I'm charging each one of you to do your servant duties that you was voted in this office, in this capacity to do. Also, I'm seeing about Bethel and St. Mark, the food program, because they pretty diligent handling the food and stuff. I wish you would do the right thing. On the lease with Hasselbrink, there was a few provisions in there that was disturbing, and also to some of the council people. Right now, I think we should go ahead and approve this lease so we can move forward and not split up the family. I think of King Solomon with the two women that had the one baby. And one wanted to cut the baby in half, the other didn't. So I don't want it to be cut in half. I would rather go along with this lease. And when voting time comes, we'll see what we can do, or in somewhere in between that with this present administration that's in. But I'm quite upset about that. But I would like to see the families stay together. And you guys do the right thing. That's all I have.
Thank you. Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
Next speaker is Shirley Wilson Johnson.
Good afternoon. I am Shirley Wilson Johnson, 2715 Lakewood Drive, Flint, Michigan, and I am here for an appointment to the review board. I will not be able to stay until the council meeting because I have a previous engagement. At this time, I would like for you to look at my qualifications that I have sent in. I promise to do the best for my city and the residents. Are there any questions of me?
Madam Clerk, would you please let her know? No, she asked if we had questions. Could you please let her know?
There's no back and forth right now.
Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is Arthur Woodson.
Good evening, Councilman Elamine. I think I came in here before the judge even said bring the resolution back up, and I asked you or made a statement that you should bring the resolution back up for Hasselbring. And then looking over the videos, you had tabled it in August. Either you or Councilwoman Judy had tabled it back in August. So you could take it off the table by 5 votes and vote on it. If you're political, if you're looking to run in 2026, this would be a serious marker for votes in 2026. And then senior is a serious voting block. So those are the ones that you really don't want to get on the bad side. When Jaleel Carter came up for Hurley Medical Center to be voted on the board, Councilwoman Burns said she just wanted to talk to him. You had at least 3 Councilwoman Mashat, Councilwoman Priestley, and Councilwoman Lewis speak out on Tanya about being personal. Guess what, y'all? Y'all are personal as hell. If I came up here appointed, somebody trying to appoint me, I already know it's 4 no's automatically because y'all do not like me and I really don't care. But don't speak about being personal. How many of you have been out there to pass out food in the wintertime just this past winter? Judy, I never seen you out in the community doing anything. St. Mark's and Bethel, I have worked at all these help centers. You have seniors volunteering, seniors. They own walkers and they still out there in the snow, still trying to pass out boxes of food. It's no way that they should be down here asking you to give them some money to help Flint. It's not to help their centers, it's to help the people in the city of Flint. And they shouldn't have to be down here begging. Let it be one of these big 501c3s. Judy, I'm gonna see you back there running because matter of fact, Salvation Army was down here asking for $650,000. Soon as you voted for it, you ran back there smiling, cheesing, talking to them and everything else. But see, I'll never see you talking to St. Mark's or Bethel and telling them, I got you. But you'll hurry up and smile and cheese and throw thumbs up with these people that's coming in here that's white asking for some money, Judy.
Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is Beverly Biggs Levy.
My name is Beverly Biggs Levy. I'm in the 3rd Ward. This is about the 8th week that I've come here. That house, that building on Philadelphia and Saginaw, nothing has been done about that building. I don't know who to speak about it, but there's glass everywhere. And like I say, if a kid get in there and something happen, everybody gonna be like, oh, I'm so sorry that happened. You guys have the right to come and check it out. You say you got an ambassador, have she reported it? I don't think so, because nothing is being done. We need to get together for, St. Mark and Bethel. You gotta feed these people. There's a lot of people in Flint that is hungry, have nowhere to live, sleeping outside, and y'all want to turn it down because y'all got personal beef with Pastor Thompson? Dale, I'm ashamed of you. I am really ashamed of you. You don't want to give this man something because you say he throwing shots or you throwing shots or something like that. That's ridiculous. He has nothing to do with feeding the people. If it was something that you gave in Cyrus Park, you would want them to vote on it. They done voted on your 50, they done voted on your 25, and you don't want to give these people nothing because you don't like Pastor Thompson? But you're gonna like that girl that y'all want to put in that 3rd ward that helped me knock on doors to recall you. You're gonna like her real well. And I thought she was coming up because she was downstairs today. I thought she was coming up because what I can say behind a person's back, I can say it to their face. I'm never afraid, never. But you guys want to not give Hasselbrink no service. You don't want to give Pastor Thompson no service, Bethel no service. All of y'all need to be, you four need to be ashamed. That's why you can't hold your heads up half the time. You should be ashamed. And that's all I have to say. Y'all have a good day.
Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
The final speaker for this meeting is Sandra Jobin.
Good afternoon. My name's Sandra Jobin. I'm not from Flint, but I'm seeing what's happening in Flint, and it's very scary to figure this out. And you guys say that you want more people to come around here, but the first thing you start off with, instead of a prayer or the Pledge of Allegiance or anything to the country, you start off with, you're going to be arrested by a assault and battery. You need to read the definition of assault and battery and then tell me that somebody that speaks out in the audience is assault and battery. Because you arrest me for something like that, and I will have a lawyer.
No, that's right.
So for that point, the other point is, as far as Hasselberry goes, this is all a distraction. I'm sorry to say, guys, there's more going on behind the doors than what this is to do with the seniors. They just wanted to get to you guys to come out and keep your eye focused on the senior citizens, and it's disgusting that senior citizens that's already paid their dues through the years have to stand here and plead to you guys to keep something open for them to have somewhere to go, because some of them don't have family that come and visit. Some of them don't have a church that they go to, or they can even get out to go to. But you guys are disgusting. And then as far as some of you guys saying, well, I feel like I'm being put back in slavery and all this other crap. Some of you guys still have your masters. And boy, they come across that desk like there ain't no tomorrow. When you vote the wrong way, wait and see what happens. It was proven on roll the tape back last meeting. You can roll the tape back, and you'll see exactly. And if you can hear her, then she should have heard him. He never once said he wanted to change that vote. And so what you're afraid of is somebody getting in that seat and making that 5th vote and making a damn change for this city. And as far as the Republicans go, it's disgrace and to say that Gladys is not a Republican. She's paid her dues. And for you guys to sit there and say that she don't belong to be, when she was voted in as a delegate, that she cannot go to convention, a 70-some-year-old lady that's paid her dues, has fought for this water system, and you guys vote no? You're disgusting, and you know who I'm talking about. And you know what? Do a little homework. Find out who sits on that water board, because there's 2 of them right here on your council.
Seeing as how that was the last public speaker, it is now time for council response. Council members may respond once to all public speakers only after all public speakers have spoken. An individual council member's response shall be limited to 2 minutes. Is there anyone who would like the floor during council response?
Madam Chair,
Councilwoman in the 4th Ward, you have the floor.
I'd like to address the Hasselbring situation. Number one, I was not present during any of the votes as I was in Connecticut. Number 2, it was asked that we drop that contract. They voted, the council voted unanimously for those people present. It was 8-0 to postpone it indefinitely. The only way that can come back is with a new resolution. Number 3, Hasselbring again. We do not negotiate contracts. That is not our role. We are legislative. We do not negotiate contracts. We can only approve contracts. And at this point, if it was to come back, the mayor would veto it. So we can do everything you want, but it doesn't count for anything, and we will be violating our charter by doing stuff that is not allowed. So I just want to let you know, understand that there's nothing we can do as a body for Hasselbring without a new resolution with the dollar amount, because we cannot approve that previous contract because it was voted to table indefinitely. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak during council response?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the 6th Ward, you have the floor.
Thank you, St. Mark, for coming out. Bethel, Hasselbrink. The sad part is a lot of us lack the will to do it, so there is something we can do. We lack the will as a body. Big difference. Big difference. I'm hoping this evening, St. Mark's is not on here this evening, and I'm gonna continue to put it up for reconsideration as long, let them keep voting it down. Let them keep saying that they're not gonna feed the community, and we have the money. We have the money. Mr. Whitson, I wanna thank you for what you do in the ward, in the 6th Ward, and you and the members, Ms. Thomas. You serve more than just the community that's right there. The ones who walk over, the ones who live there. People come from wherever. And that line, you run out of food before you run out of people to give it to. Water, vegetables, when it's hot, when it's cold. And it's hard when we lack the will as a council to do what we know is right, and we have the money. We have the money. Last time I checked, it was over 600,000, I believe. I'm not exactly sure what the number, but we lack the will. We're allowing our community to go hungry, and we have the money. We have the money. Council can't get 5 votes, should be 8. We're missing a 9th vote to feed this community. There's no way, no one, and it doesn't have to be if I like you or not, because I done voted on people's projects, and I don't even, it's not a like, it's the business. I voted on if it takes care of the people. Make these votes about the people, leave the personal out of it, so our community doesn't go hungry when we got the money.
Is there anyone else who wishes to speak during council response?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the 5th Ward, you have the floor.
Thank you. First, I would like to thank all of the residents for coming out. Thank you for voicing your concerns, your issues, and your opinions, because it means a lot. Thank you for being engaged in the process. And I want those who are here from Bethel, St. Mark's, I want you to know that I support you 100% for whatever you need. And I want to thank you for being out there and supporting our residents as far as food access or whatever your church offer for the residents. I know I work over at the St. Luke New Life Center, and on Fridays, we have a food giveaway. And when I tell you, there are a lot of residents in need of food. And whatever personal needs, whatever we have, we supply it. So there is a tremendous need. And as a council, we need to be thinking about the people first. And we need to not let our emotions get in the way. And as far as Hasselbring, I support Hasselbring. And my thing with the contract is that I feel like Hasselbring shouldn't be paying no more than $1 per month. So, yeah, I want the contract to be brought back up because we need to fix it. We need to fix that lease, and Hasselbring should only be paying $1 a month. Our seniors have paid their dues. And it's a shame that we have so much politics going on up here.
Is there anyone else who would like the floor during council response?
Madam Chair,
Councilman in the first ward.
I want to thank the residents who came out and spoke, and in particular the ones about Hasselbring. Regarding Hasselbring, it's been a lot of misinformation being said. Is the councilman working with the current service providers and all these other different things. From the time I've been on council, I have been working with Ms. Beverly and the whole Hasselbring family over there. I'm the one also who got it negotiated when it was trying to raise it from $2,000 all the way down to $500, and some things that was changed in it then, in which the president, also Mr. Percy, who's here, who signed that lease agreement as well. And then as a caveat, I try to use my council funds to pay for the first year. All of that was rejected because individuals is giving them bad information and wanting them to have certain things that's already been rejected. As my colleague said over in the 4th Ward, the one who has to bring this back up would have to be the administration. He's the one that negotiates city property. The council don't negotiate that. That was stated with the previous attorney when we had Mr. Joe was over there several times. I asked the question several times. So it has to come from the mayor in regards to any new resolutions or anything coming to this body to be voted on or whatever. But I think it's just disheartening, all this misinformation that's being spread out as if I'm not advocating for the seniors at Hasselbring. When I was going through the ward and talking to different seniors, you got some people that like the current service provider and you got some that don't, and they looking for something different and change and so forth. So it's mixed feelings in regards to that, but for individuals to constantly say that no one's fighting for the seniors and we're not trying to get the best deal for them, it's just really disheartening. You know, and it's unfortunate that they continue to try to stir up individuals' emotions and so forth. The center is not closing, it's just moving under new management.
Anyone else who wishes to speak during council response?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the 2nd Ward.
Thank you. So I just want to comment to Ms. Biggs-Levy. So if you are having any issues with the 3rd Ward, we have 2 ward ambassadors. As you know, LaShawn Johnson, who did go out and help collect signatures. I'm fine with that, but it's about moving forward. So you know her number. And then we can also reach out to Ms. Linda Booth, our 2nd Ward ambassador. See, we'll have someone in this spot if my colleagues will have the political will to put the most qualified and effective person in it. But until then, it will remain apparently empty because our colleagues chose to violate charter to not fill that spot within the allotted time. So that's one. And for 2, you know, I really want to make sure that we're being real clear when we're talking about utilizing seats for personal vendettas, because I trust that the Kennedy Life Center, through the Kennedy cleaners, who were coming up here several times so they can do great things in the 1st Ward, they were basically told that we're not voting for you because you put Beverly Biggs-Levy out. That's personal. That's not what, Madam.
We paused the time. So now it is time for council response. The public response period is over. So You were respected during your time, regardless of how anyone felt about what you were saying. The same respect is due to the council, regardless of how you feel about what they're saying. Please do not yell out during council response. Thank you.
So again, I make it a point to focus on the dollars and the cents. That's why we are discussing Bethel. We have relatives to discuss Bethel. When it came down to, making it personal, that's not what we're here to do. I don't mind people supporting my recall. But guess what? People will come to the light and see the great work that I'm doing, in which they have. So, what I will not do is listen to my colleagues say that they don't make it personal when they demonize the Kennedy Life Center for the great work they were doing and stated on record that they would not approve those funds. And yes, 5 members of this body did do so to help move the First Ward forward. Nothing personal, strictly helping the community, and we shall continue to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak during council response? All right, seeing as how there is no one else who wishes to speak during council response, we can now move on to the consent agenda. What is the pleasure of the body? Councilwoman in the 4th Ward.
I motion that we send the consent agenda to council.
There is a motion on the floor by the 4th Ward Councilwoman that we send the consent agenda to council. Is there support? It's been moved and properly supported. Are there separations? Supported by the councilman in the 8th Ward. Are there any separations?
Madam Chair,
Councilwoman in the 6th Ward.
I'd like to separate 250042,
What'd you separate it for?
the Bethel.
Okay.
I didn't know if we have got, I don't know who Roger Green is. I would like to, I think she's still here, separate Miss Shirley Johnson.
Is she still here?
Yep, you can see her right behind Liberty Bell.
She's short. I can't
Yeah.
see her.
And that is all I would like to separate, because I know she's going to be leaving.
Are there any more separations? Seeing as how there are no more separations, we will
Madam
move
Chair.
on with the consent agenda. Madam Clerk.
Appointment 25, it's wrong on the agenda. It has an extra 0, but it's 250037.
Yes.
We have an amended version that we need to address.
Okay, so we'll separate that just to amend it. Thank you very much.
Is that the, which one?
It's Miss Joyce Ellis McNeil to correct the language on
okay.
her. All right, so moving forward, the consent agenda. Well, yes.
I think, let me see. I want to separate 250039.
It's already separated.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you.
It was. Oh, I'm sorry, I separated the wrong one. I got you. No, it was 4-1. Thank you.
39, separate 39.
I got you. Thank you so much.
And Madam Chair, and so I will also, while we're here, separate 250037.
That was already separated.
All right, thank you. Sorry about that.
Man, is that the whole agenda at this point?
No, it's not. At this point, the consent agenda it contains the ordinance. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Alamin? Yes. Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett? Yes. And the vote is 8 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 8 yes, 0 no. Moving on to Resolution 250042, which is the reallocation of ARPA funds, Bethel United Methodist Church, Food Pantry, Food Access, and Food Support System. What is the pleasure of the body? Okay, so I'll move that to council. Is there support? It's moved and properly supported by the councilman in the 1st Ward. Is there anyone who would like the floor in the first round of discussion? Councilwoman in the 6th Ward. Yes, ma'am. All right, can we have both representatives from Bethel please join us?
Yeah. I'm not gonna give her. Mr. Winston and Mrs. Thomas, thank you for being here. We did have good discussion last week, and again, thank you for what you do. If you can just reiterate, because my colleague she had had questions in the second ward, Councilwoman Lewis, and we sent it to Special Affairs. She said she wasn't aware of what you did in the community. So could you just describe and tell us what it is again? I don't think she was in her seat at that time, to tell us what it is that you do, please.
How much time do I have?
You got 4 minutes. Yeah, you have my 4 minutes right now, so.
Okay, we do the food and water giveaway every Monday. Okay, I'm sorry. We do the food and water giveaway every Monday, and we continue to do that since 2016. And we do it whether rain, sleet, or snow. I was out there this morning with it was 12 degrees. It was cold. And we were out there, we do that. Only time we're not there is if it's a holiday on Monday. We've expanded as well to include a wellness center where we do COVID testing, we test for flu, we do A1C, we do the cholesterol, blood sugar. All of those are free, plus we have a community resource officer there to help people if they need some challenges in terms of getting things done, water, whatever it is. And we do that 3 days a week, Tuesday through Thursday. We also, this past summer, we did a fun day where we gave away gas cards to over 100 citizens in the city. We had a prayer vigil that even after we did the backpacks, we did the prayer vigil, and even after we gave out the backpacks and the gas cards, people were still in line asking for prayer. We do as a clothing giveaway. We do the clothing giveaway. During the summer months. We do. We have, as Rosa said, our parlor is a Black History exhibit for the whole month of February. So anybody can come there. We have students that come to an alternative school next door to our building. They come. I'm trying to think. We do.
We also give away we always also give away Black History written materials. We buy those books and we give those away every Sunday, and they're always on the display table. Now we are going to put them on the display table so that the people that come in for the COVID testing will have access to that information.
Yeah, now if our church, we have a quiz, a Black History quiz we do once a month. So you're more than welcome to come take that quiz to see how well versed you are in Black history. It's only 10 questions, and usually it's a multiple choice, but I'd be interested to see how if you would come and do one of those things. But there's so many things that we do. Like I say, we do the tutoring.
So how will this help you with the food? Because you and I have had this discussion, because when I'm working in that line, you don't let me get a break.
Yeah. Well, I flash back to my AC days, but
you hired on a system.
Yeah. But the food, we're limited in what we can give. If we had the funds, we could enhance that. We give our potatoes, but we want to include some meats and some other things because,
How much is it for a regular truck and then a truck with meat? I know we're two different prices.
There's two different prices. One is $600 and one is $1,000. The one that's $1,000 includes a little more than the one for $600.
And approximately how many people do you serve per week?
We have 200.
We
average 205 people.
No, probably more than that.
Because we just do it by the month, and then we divide it into 4. Whatever Mondays that we serve, we divide that, and that's how we come up with the number of how many people we serve per week.
Yeah, but you got multiple families in these cars. You got some vehicles where they don't have transportation, so we might have 2 families in one vehicle.
I've seen 4 in a car, in a truck.
Right, so we could have anywhere upwards over 300 people a week to come through there.
Well, I don't have but 5 minutes, and we get our next round, so I'm gonna yield the floor so that others can know what you do, and because you are a staple in this ward, in this community, and you're in the 6th ward. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like the floor in the first round of discussion? All right, seeing as how no one else would like the floor in the first round of discussion, I will take my time. I think it goes without saying, all of the work that Bethel has done in our community. I've done a lot of work at Bethel, a lot of partnering, come to a lot of programs, volunteered a lot of hours over there. I do appreciate the work that you're doing. Please continue to keep up the good work and continue taking care of Flint families. I know that the line is often wrapped around Ballinger and even on often into the neighborhoods. So just thank you for the work that you're doing for Flint families. Moving on to the second round of discussion, is there anyone who would like the floor?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the second ward.
Thank you. So, just want to add a little clarification. I never said I didn't know what Bethel did, because I've volunteered there a few times. You know, I volunteer at many help centers. When we talk about, Greater Holy Temple, the RL, it's slipping me, but Bishop Jones, RL Jones Help Center, volunteered. I've been all over, because service is what got me in this spot, because I have a real heart for the community. So I never said I didn't know what you do. I just said that I wanted to talk to you all so we can get an understanding of what's going on. In terms of your explicit needs. You know, I've been to expungement fairs there. I've been to murder mysteries there. So you guys service the community well beyond the capacity of just food. You service the community in multiple ways. And so, and also when I was at the expungement fair there, I know they were stabbed outside in the city, and they came to Bethel because they knew it was a safe place where they can come and they can get some help. So, your reputation exceeds itself. So again, thank you for that. So, I had questions, in terms of, how are you, and through you, Madam Chair, to have them come to the lectern real quick.
Yes, please, if you will join us at the lectern, Mr. Woods.
So how do you fund your programs? Do you have any big grants, outside grants coming in? How do you usually fund all the great things that you do?
We've had a number of grants in the past. We've had grants from the Community Foundation, the Mott Foundation, and we had one grant when Eric Mays and some other council people were president, that they gave us from the ARPA funds probably about 3 years ago, where we got $118,000 from the city. That was 3 years ago, so our funds are pretty much depleted right now. So we're running on fumes. We're trying to keep it going, but we're running on fumes right now.
Okay, have you received any grants, I'll say, the end of last year or this year?
No.
Okay, well, very well. Well, hopefully you will receive a $50,000 grant today.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like the floor in the second round of discussion?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the sixth ward.
Thank you. So, Mr. Woodson, and I appreciate Beth, and I appreciate my colleagues. Like I said, we have lacked the will to do some of the things. Hopefully, this will be one of them we can all say the 8 of us came together to vote on. That the 8 of us said, we have the money in there, and we will all have the will to support this. Councilwoman Lewis did state that she didn't know what they did. Then I asked her, reminded her, she was out there working when I was out there working, when she was running. And then she said, okay, well, let's bring it to special affairs. So it's good to hear her questions were answered. I'm glad that you showed up, because I absolutely told the truth. But I'm glad that you're here because you service this community. And I've been there to see the line, even with the COVID testing. Even when elections are happening at that, you still have people, because they're used to coming there. People come to get tested. And you were there when no one else wanted to, open their doors. You stayed open. You stayed open, you risked your life, you fed the people. When people were telling you, don't touch the canned goods, don't touch the plastic bags, we didn't know which type of mask really worked, but wear a mask, decorative, or one that was, to be from the hospital mask. You stayed open. You did the work to make sure our community kept going. I am forever grateful for that, because I can look out my front door and see where the line is always wrapped around. I see that. I see Berkeley, the people who come across in their baskets and they want them, wherever they can get one, or their shopping carts from the grocery store, that whatever means, or in their wagons, that they pull up the children's wagons. You're there, sun, sleet, snow, deep freeze. Today it was cold. You're there. You do the work, and it's not like, not like y'all young folk, because I'm not young either. I'm not. And I appreciate you. So thank you for doing the work, because you kept this community going. As people like Bethel Church, St. Mark, Hasselbrink, Asbury, and Grady Holy Temple, who do the work even when it's cold. So I want to say thank you. I appreciate you. Madam Chair, I yield the floor.
Is there anyone else who would like the floor in the second round of discussion?
Madam Chair,
Councilman in the first ward.
I just want to commend Bethel as well. My mother and a lot of family and friends is in the 6th ward, right from walking distance from you guys, and you guys do a lot of great things, especially with the water giveaways and food giveaways and so forth. So I just want to commend y'all. I do see the work, and I have had the opportunity myself to volunteer with some of them young folks that was over there. So I just want to commend you guys on the work you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like the floor in the second round of discussion? Seeing as how there's no one else who would like the floor in the second round of discussion, I will take my time so we can wrap this up. It is not uncommon, Mr. Woodson and Ms. Anderson, it is not uncommon for council members to be in support of your initiative and still ask you to come in just to kind of speak a little bit more about the work that you do and the need that you're currently having. And so don't think it's strange if a council person does request for you to come in, and don't think that it is as a lack of support from the council person if they do that. This is not uncommon. All of our colleagues at some point has asked for someone that even though they were supporting them, to still just come in and talk. We all are aware of the amazing work that you do in the community, as you heard from the 1st, 2nd, 6th, and 7th wards. We've all been over there, and we've all volunteered, so we're all clear on what you're doing. I do believe my colleague in the 2nd ward has supported this initiative from the beginning. But she did something that we all often do, and that's just have them come in. Let's hear specifically what they're lacking, because she does have a lot of resources and access to other resources, and it could have possibly helped in some other way. We do thank you for your time on today, and thank you for the work that you're continuing to do in the community. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Lewis.
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Alamin? Yes. The vote is 8 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 8 yes, 0 no. Resolution 250042-T, reallocation of ARPA funds, Bethel United Methodist Church, food pantry, food access, and food support system has passed to council. Moving on to appointments. Resolution 250037-T, appointment to the community-wide advisory council, Joyce Ellis McNeil, 8th Ward. What is the pleasure of the body? It's been, a motion has been made to send to council by the councilman in the 8th Ward. Is there support? Moved and properly supported by the councilman in the 1st Ward. Councilman in 8th Ward, you have the floor.
Motion to amend to point 1 to include the new language.
There is a motion on the floor to amend to appoint 1 to include the language that states, it is resolved that the Flint City Council approves the appointment of Joyce Ellis McNeil to fill the 8th Ward seat on the Citywide Advisory Council as requested by 8th Ward Flint City Council member Dennis Pfeiffer for a term March 1st, 2025 to February 28th, 2028. Is there a second? Is there support? Councilwoman in the 5th Ward has properly supported that. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Priestley? Yes. Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns? Is not in. Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Alamin?
Yes.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
The vote is 8 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 8 yes, 0 no. Moving on to 250037.1. What is the pleasure of the body?
Send the revised point 1 to council.
There's a motion on the floor by the councilman in the 8th Ward to send point 1 to council. Is there support?
Support.
Moved and properly supported by the councilman in the 1st Ward. Roll call, Madam Clerk. Roll call, Madam Clerk. I already did it.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett? Yes. Mr. Alamin? Yes. Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley? Yes. Vote is 8 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 8 yes, 0 no. That appointment to 50037.1, which is the appointment to the Community-Wide Advisory Council, Joyce Ellis McNeil of the 8th Ward, has passed to council. Moving on to appointment resolution 250039-T, which is the appointment to the Flint Planning Commission of Roderick L. Green for the 3rd Ward. What is the pleasure of the body?
Madam Chair, send
Council.
council.
Councilwoman in the 4th Ward made the motion to send to council. Is there support? Moved and properly supported by the councilman in the 1st Ward. Is there discussion?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the 5th Ward.
Madam Chair, through you to Clerk Donahue. Clerk Donahue, do you have a list? I think I asked for a list last week of the Planning Commission, those who serve.
The current members?
Yes.
For all of the wards? I can send it to you guys right now.
Okay. And who will Mr. Green be replacing on that planning commission for the 3rd Ward? And another question is, who made this appointment?
The only person that can.
Pardon me?
I said the only person that can. We don't get appointments for this. Planning Commission.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I forgot about that. So yeah, I wanna find out, I need that list. Because, and the reason I'm asking, because I did reach out to Mr. Green, and I asked him, did he know about this? Because I don't see him in the audience, and I'm sure he would have been here to talk about being appointed, and he said he didn't know.
That's a problem.
Request for information.
What is your request?
He didn't know about this meeting, or he didn't know he was being appointed?
Didn't know he's being appointed. So my next question is, when appointments get put on the agenda, who contact the person to let them know that they have been nominated to be appointed? Exactly. And that's why I'm asking the question. And I say that because it is not like him to be here if he was supposed to be here. Madam Clerk, I asked the question.
You're asking me who contacts?
Yes.
So for the appointments that you guys do yourselves, you would contact those individuals, and the administration does the rest for any other appointments. 'Cause they are the
For
ones that-
planning commission, right?
Correct. Now, you guys make your recommendation, and the assumption is that you have contacted that person before you let them know. So, yes, that would be, you would contact them in the first place, but any other appointment is done by the administration. It's up to them to contact those
Okay.
individuals.
So apparently, he does not know about this appointment. So, and I'm gonna,
Ms. Winfrey Carter, did he state one way or the other if he wanted to serve? Would he be willing to come in and talk?
yeah, I did, well, he didn't say. But what I want to do, and I'll yield to the rest of my colleagues, I'll wait until the second round. I would like to send this back to committee, and then we'll figure it out.
Is there anyone else who would like the floor in the first round of discussion?
Madam Chair.
Councilman in the 8th Ward.
Through you to Mr. Edwards.
Mr. Edwards. Mr. Edwards, would you please join us at the lectern? You can probably start your questions going.
Because he's slow, you're gonna lose 45 seconds.
Mr. Edwards, while you're walking, do you know if anyone contacted Mr. Green and he knows about this? Because getting contrary information from my colleague, so can you speak to whether or not?
To your point, Councilman Pfeiffer, one of our staff assistants did contact him directly, yes. He was contacted and knows about this appointment.
So the point was that he didn't even know that he was being appointed.
That's an alleged statement, so I'm not here to try to make determination as to what he said. I'm telling you what our staff did.
So as far as you're concerned, he
was properly notified. That is what I'm saying to you.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's all I have.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like the floor in the first round of discussion? Councilwoman in the second ward.
Thank you. So I would like to hear from Mr. Taylor. So may he please approach the lectern?
Oh, he's here.
Through you to Ms. Lewis, Mr. Pfeiffer, and the council. Mr. Green knew he was getting appointed. Mr. Green gave us his resume, which you all should have because I didn't make it up.
We have it.
So he knew all of this. Now, why he's not here, I can't tell you that. But he knew. Daryl contacted him on my behalf. Okay? Yeah. So there you go. And we've been trying to fill the planning commission seats. And this is one before Emily left and resigned. She said, hey, we need to get this filled because I guess they've been having problems with meetings. So he did know. And he stated that he really wanted to be a part of the community because he does a lot for the community. Clean up, so on and so forth, and it looks as though he works at the school district. I think he works at Holmes Junior High. So he say he know me. I don't know him unless I see him. I got an idea who it is, but you know.
Okay. So thank you so much, Mr. Taylor, because I really did want some clarification as far as that goes. Because for someone not to know that they are up for an appointment, I know that we can't magically produce a whole resume out of nowhere. So that part didn't make sense. So you said that he said that he wanted to be a part of the planning commission?
Yes, he did.
She said that he did not, and he's not here.
Point of
Please pause the time.
Request for information.
Please pause the time. What is your request to the chair? What is your request to the chair?
Madam Chair, request for
Yes.
information. Do she realize I got a text? Now, whether he knew that he was supposed to be here tonight or the appointment or whatever, it doesn't even matter. What matters is, was he aware to be here tonight?
Thank you. Continue, Councilwoman in the second ward.
I definitely appreciate that, so let me just make it even more clear. The point is that it was just stated from your seat that he was unaware that he was being appointed. He was unaware that he was being appointed. So when you say someone is unaware that they're up for an appointment, that leads us to
Request
assume.
for information.
Please pause the time. What is your request to the chair?
Madam Chair, what is her point? What is her point? Move on with this meeting and stop trying to throw digs and throw shade.
Ms. Winfrey Carter,
Tired of her.
it is your time. Please continue.
Thank you. So back to the point. The point is, it was stated from a colleague's seat that Mr. Green had no knowledge that he was up for an appointment. Thank you, Mr. Taylor, for letting us know that he knows. And you said that you don't know why he's not here tonight?
No, I don't.
Correct, okay. So I am definitely for leaving this in special affairs, and hopefully he can come next special affairs meeting so we can hash this out to see if he sent a text stating that he didn't know of this appointment or whatever the case may be. So it sounds, what was said was just totally conflicting. And I just want to make sure again, that's the point of this body, to get down to the truth. Either you knew you were being appointed to a commission or you did not. Either you submitted your whole resume to be appointed to a commission or you did not. So, Madam Chair, I would like to make a motion to leave this in special affairs so he can come and tell his own story at the lectern.
It's been properly supported by the councilman in the 8th Ward. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett? Mr. Alamin? Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
The vote is 8 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 8 yes, 0 no. This appointment, Resolution 250039-T, which is the appointment to the Flint Planning Commission, Roderick L. Green, 3rd Ward, will stay in special affairs. Moving on to Appointment Resolution 250041, which is the appointment, the Board of Review, Shirley Wilson Johnson of the 9th Ward. What is the pleasure of the body?
Move to council.
Support.
There's a motion on the floor to move to council by the councilman in the 8th Ward. It's been properly supported by the councilwoman in the 4th Ward. Is there discussion?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the 6th Ward.
Thank you. If you could, through you to Ms. Shirley.
Ms. Shirley Johnson, would you please join us at the lectern? You may need to adjust, yeah.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I always like to see you. And I was thrilled when I saw Mr. Jarrett had you on here to serve. And I know you are a rather busy lady. And so I want you to know that I appreciate you for doing this, because I know for any board, anything that you do, it's always excellence. And I appreciate that. Is there something you would like to tell us about yourself? Because I know you said you could not stay to the next council meeting.
Yes, I am a retiree. And when you're retired, you make your own agenda. That's why you think I'm always busy. I pick and choose. But to serve the city would be great. I know our citizens need representation. They need to be heard. They need to know that there's somebody there to listen to them, to look at all the facts and make a great recommendation for them.
Ms. Shirley, I think you did, was it accounting you were in?
Yes. I'm a graduate of the University of South Alabama with a major in accounting, a graduate of Central Michigan University with a major in administration. I'm retired to General Motors, where I did budgets for North America and Asia Pacific. I also did general accounting when we at General Motors was applying for abatements to get out of your taxes. So I'm very familiar with the process.
Okay. I just wanted to highlight you and to tell you thank you for agreeing to serve on the board, because it is it's not a paid position, and you got to do it because you love the city. You stay here because you love the city.
Yes.
And you love the people. And I just want to tell you thank you. I yield the floor, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like the floor in the first round of discussion?
Madam Chair.
Mr. Jarrett.
Thank you. Through you to Ms. Johnson, I just want to say thank you for being willing to take on this appointment. You know, often when we're in these roles and we're trying to think about who, one, we will be comfortable putting our own name on, and then for that person to be able to do the job, and as Councilwoman Burns said, and with excellence. I'm confident in both. So thank you for your willingness, and I trust that you will be added to this board and you will represent the 9th Ward well as be a good addition to this body. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm always willing to serve.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like the floor in the first round of discussion? Seems that no one else would like the floor in the first round of discussion, is there anyone who would like the floor in the second round of discussion? Roll call, Madam Clerk. This is the vote to send resolution 250041-T to council, and that is the appointment to the Board of Review for Shirley Wilson Johnson for the 9th Ward.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Alamin?
Yes.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
The vote is 8 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 8 yes, 0 no. That resolution 250041-T has been sent to council. We are at the end of our agenda. What is the pleasure of the body?
Motion to adjourn.
There is a motion to adjourn. Is there support?
Support.
Supported by the councilman in the 8th Ward. Y'all got to be quicker than that. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Alamin?
Yes.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
The vote is 8 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 8 yes, 0 no. The time is now 6:01 p.m. on Monday, February 10th, 2025. I call the Special Affairs Committee meeting. It is now adjourned.
She's starting right up here now.
No, we do have a 5-minute time for anyone who needs to fill out a speaker slip as we go into council.
And again, you only need to fill out the slip if you did not fill out a slip for the first meeting. You don't have to fill out another slip.
How does that look? How do those look?
I didn't look at it yet because when I came back to my seat, you're so funny.
I told Adele she better love me.
Oh, did you make yours too?
I made 4 pants. I kept one for myself. I should have brought it for you. Yeah, I woke up late too. And it's like, oh my God, I gotta get this done. And then I'm going to make the caramel. I went, I don't have no brown sugar.
I mean, we already passed this. We shouldn't be
I'm gonna move the all the voting to the end. I'm gonna make a motion. Whoops.
black guy look like he handicapped, like you all that junk. You know, got to you trying to make somebody look like they're all that junk. All that simple junk. Yeah. I heard nothing, man. I heard nothing. These motherfuckers on troll. That's all they got. Killing themselves, shutting themselves like a mug. And they should have hired me. I could go to them. Wait a minute, don't say that. Don't say that. I ain't messing with them no more. So they go outside and give me something to drink.
If the council members can take their seat, we'll go ahead and call this council meeting to order. The time is 6:18 p.m. and I will call this city council meeting to order for the purpose of electing a city council president in accordance with the charter. We'll start first with the roll call. Mr. Al-Alamin. Ms. Lewis.
Present.
Ms. Priestley.
Present.
Ms. Winfrey Carter.
Present.
Ms. Burns.
Present.
Ms. Mashat. Mr. Pfeiffer. Mr. Jarrett. You have 8 members present.
Madam Chair, or Clerk, excuse me.
Priestley.
I'd like to make a motion to move the reorganization of the city council to the end of the agenda.
Ms. Priestley has made a motion to move the organization of the city council to the end of the agenda. Is there support for that motion? Support. Supported by Ms. Mashat. Roll call on this motion. Mr. Al-Alamin? Yes. Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer? Mr. Jarrett? The vote is 7 yes, 1 no. So the organization of the council will be moved to the end of the agenda after the introduction, first reading of ordinances. Moves us to the next item on the agenda, and I'm going to turn it back over to the chair.
All right, so next on the agenda is the consideration of applicants for the 3rd Ward Council member.
Okay, so, this is consideration of applicants, candidates regarding the vacancy in the office of the Third Ward Council Member per Flint City Charter, Section 2-410B. The current applicants' candidates are Ms. Beverly Biggs Levy, Mr. A.C. Dumas, Mr. Rich Jones, and Mr. Kerry Nelson. As noted in the last special meeting, with the rounds that were conducted at that time, we would be adding those rounds to your current rounds before that. That's going to bring us to round number 152. And we are going to
Madam Clerk.
start. Yes.
What round did you state?
152. You started with rounds in December, and then you didn't do any more, and then this last meeting you did, I forget what the number was, but we added, we didn't get to 30. We added those two sets of rounds together as discussed in that meeting, so you are now currently on round 152 total for the Third Ward vacancy vote. And Mr. Pfeiffer is the next person to state the name of the person that he wants to appoint to the Third Ward.
All right. So, okay, I was just trying to clear where we were, so thank you for the point. Go ahead, Madam Clerk.
We are in round 152 with Mr. Jarrett. Mr. Alamin. Ms. Lewis.
Kerry Nelson.
Ms. Priestley.
Kerry Nelson.
Ms. Winfrey Carter.
Biggs Levy.
Ms. Burns.
I abstained because we reached 5 votes last week.
So, excuse me, so according to our charter, you can abstain. For that reason, you must only abstain if it is a conflict of interest for you. So we want to make sure that we're in alignment with the charter. So either you have to vote yes or no.
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
who's running this? Is it you or is it the clerk? Why are you speaking?
I'm speaking
The
because
clerk.
I'm the chair.
The clerk was taking the roll call.
I understand, but the chair had to
Okay,
let you know that
again,
your vote was in violation
My vote
of
is
the
not
city
in
charter.
violation. That 5th vote last week, we obtained it, and we are in court. It is a violation. This process
Again.
has been tainted. That is my
Again.
answer.
Again, Ms. Burns,
me
I'm
to
giving you the
court.
opportunity to follow
No,
the
I don't need your
charter.
opportunity, like you did last week, robbing people of votes. No.
That is, Ms. Burns, again, you have the opportunity to
Again,
vote
I
yes or no.
abstain.
Okay,
Now, you
Ms.
need me to
Burns.
keep
Ms.
repeating it
Burns,
to you.
that is your warning.
You can't give me a warning for voting. You can't give me a warning for voting. What's wrong with you? Something is really wrong with you.
Finally, Ms. Mushat.
Kerry Nelson.
That's 1 vote for Mr. Dumas, 2 votes for Ms. Biggs Levy, 4 votes for Mr. Nelson. Round 153.
Point of order.
Mr. Jarrett.
Wait a minute. What is your point?
Did Ms. Burns change her vote?
No.
She abstained.
Yeah, I only said 1 for Mr. Dumas, 2 for Ms. Biggs Levy, and 4 for Mr. Nelson. I didn't count Ms. Burns' vote. She abstained. 1 abstention. Sorry.
Okay. Thank you.
Round 153, Mr. Jarrett. Mr. Alamin? Nelson. Ms. Lewis?
Nelson.
Ms. Priestley?
Kerry Nelson.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Biggs Levy.
Ms. Burns?
I abstained because we reached 5 votes last week.
Again, according to the charter, it states that you must vote yes or no, and you can only abstain if you have a
Madam
conflict
Chair,
of interest.
point of order.
Go ahead. Yeah, what is your point?
The claps are meant to be a disruption to our meeting.
You are absolutely correct. So we're asking you to stop disrupting the meeting with unnecessary clapping, please. If not, you will receive your warning. Second warning, you'll be removed from this meeting. Thank you. So Ms. Burns, we give you an opportunity again to abide by the charter and vote yes or no. I mean, vote for the person. This is not an abstention vote unless you're in conflict.
Again, I am abstaining because it's in conflict, it's in court, and 5 votes were reached last week.
Ms. Mashat.
Carrie Nelson.
Mr. Pfeiffer.
AC Dumas.
That's 2 votes for Ms. Biggs Levy, 4 votes for Mr. Nelson, 1 vote for Mr. Dumas, 1 abstention.
Okay, thank you. So before we proceed, we will go ahead and turn to the city attorney for some clarity on this specific vote, so we can have an understanding if it is in order for the councilwoman to violate the charter by voting outside of the parameters with an abstention. Madam Attorney?
Under the charter, section 3204, voting, it states that a council member shall vote aye or nay on each matter unless there is a conflict. So,
Okay, thank you. So in accordance to our city charter, we gave Ms. Burns the opportunity.
Point of order.
So what is your point?
My point is, I told you what the conflict was.
Again, that is not, that is
Point
not
of
a
order.
conflict with.
Point of order.
Ms. Burns.
Point of order.
Ms. Burns, what is your
Point of
point?
order.
What is your
Request for
point?
information.
All talking must cease when I'm asking, when I say point of order.
Go ahead, Ms. Burns.
First of all, my conflict, I stated to you, it states conflict. It didn't say if it had to be pleasing to the chair.
Request for information.
Thank you. So point of order denied. Go ahead, Ms. Mashat.
Request for information to the chair. My colleague in the 6th Ward stated she had a conflict of interest. She stated that her conflict of interest was that we are in court for this matter. Is she in court for this matter?
Could you say that one more time for clarity?
Yes. Our colleague in the 6th Ward stated that she had a conflict of interest, and she stated that we are in court for this matter, meaning the 3rd Ward vote that took place prior to today. Prior to today. Does that mean she is in court for this matter?
All right, so I'll let the councilman in the 6th Ward answer this question.
Well, let me provide clarity for my conflict. 1, because we did arrive at 5 votes. We have attorney-client privilege, which is with Mr. Attorney Giltner, where he has looked at the videotape and the evidence. And so we'll be going back to court. We had an obligation by the court to, if we reached 5 votes, and according to the video that he viewed, which we still are in court, they haven't released us yet, where the Ethics and Accountability Board has taken the council. We are split into 2 different, you guys have Barry Wolf, we have Attorney Giltner. At this point, we had to satisfy the court with 5 votes. We attained that, and it's going back to court. So there's a conflict for me to vote when I have been dealing with our attorney. So I'm gonna keep voting. It's a conflict, because it is.
Okay,
Point of order, Madam Chair.
Not a problem. Go ahead, Councilwoman in the 7th Ward.
Thank you. And I am trying to pull up the rule that was stated as to why that we did not reach 5 votes. So please give me a second to grab that rule.
So while you're waiting, I'm going to go ahead and defer as well to our city attorney as to the conflict and voting.
Madam Chair,
Yeah.
the council person would have to state what their conflict is. That's not for me to say.
Okay. Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
According to Rule 9.7, changing one's vote, a member has a right to change his vote up to the time the result is announced by the chair. A request to change a vote after the chair's announcement requires the unanimous consent of the body without debate and may only be made immediately after the chair's announcement. Per our last meeting, the chair did not announce a roll call before our colleague changed his vote.
Okay, thank you. And nor have this body been notified of any lawsuits at all. And so when we state a conflict of interest, I want to be sure that we're clear of what we mean when we say conflict. So Attorney Gurley, could you please define conflict of interest per our charter?
Okay.
Madam Chair, under the Charter, Section 1602, there lists a numerous amount of conflicts, and disclosures that need to be made, so.
Request for information.
Hold on, well, she was talking. So did you finish?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Pfeiffer.
So is Ms. Burns' conflict valid based on what you can read in her interpretation of a conflict?
I will look through it, but at this point, I don't see why it's not. She feels she has a conflict. She's disclosed what it is.
Thank you.
We'd have to look at the charter to see.
Okay. Thank you, Attorney Gurley. So hearing that Councilwoman Burns has a conflict, and per the attorney, it may be valid.
Request for information.
Go ahead.
Request for information.
What is your request?
Through you to the attorney, so does she state the conflict every time she votes, or can she just simply abstain?
She can state on the record that her conflict continues. She doesn't have to state over and over again. She can say as it continues.
Okay, and then, so does she just need to clarify one more time with her abstention and then from there say the aforementioned? Please, listen. The rules are the rules. You can get a copy of them, and that might help you out. Excuse me, Madam Chair.
Ma'am in the back, that's your warning. Stop yelling out.
Madam Chair,
Go
I'm
ahead.
calling the young lady with the sign to order.
Yes,
as she
thank you.
keeps
And
yelling out.
ma'am, as well, you're being called to order. Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So just for clarification's sake, she can abstain, give the clear reason, and then from there, every time she abstains, just say, I abstain for the aforementioned reason.
Correct.
Thank you. Rich Jones, I'm calling you to order.
All righty. So we will go ahead and proceed. Go ahead, Madam Clerk.
So round 154.
What is your point?
Based on the seventh word's reading of that, the chair should read the roll call after each vote.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
I do agree with the councilman in the 8th Ward that because of the way that it is stated for this fact, so we don't run into anything else, after we do the roll call vote, the clerk should say the voting tally for each person.
Understood.
And then the chair should also repeat the voting tally.
Not a problem. I will definitely
Thank
make it plain. Mhm. Go ahead, Madam Clerk.
Round 154. Mr. Alamin. Ms. Lewis.
Nelson.
Ms. Priestley.
Nelson.
Ms. Winfrey Carter.
Biggs Levy.
Ms. Burns is not in. Ms. Mashat.
Nelson.
Mr. Pfeiffer.
Dumas.
Mr. Jarrett. That's 4 votes for Mr. Nelson, 2 votes for Ms. Biggs Levy, One vote for Mr. Dumas.
4 for Nelson, 2 for Big Levy, and 1 for Dumas.
Round 155, Ms. Lewis.
Nelson.
Ms. Priestley.
Nelson.
Ms. Winfrey Carter.
Biggs Levy.
Ms. Burns is not in. Ms. Mashat.
Nelson.
Mr. Pfeiffer.
Dumas.
Mr. Jarrett. Mr. Alamin. That's 4 votes for Mr. Nelson, 2 for Ms. Biggs Levy, 1 for Mr. Dumas.
4 votes for Carrie Nelson, 2 for Big Levy, and 1 vote for AC Dumas.
Round 156, Ms. Priestley.
Nelson.
Ms. Winfrey Carter.
Biggs Levy.
Ms. Burns is not in. Ms. Mashat.
Nelson.
Excuse me, Mr. Pfeiffer.
Dumas.
Mr. Jarrett. Mr. Alamin. Ms. Lewis.
Nelson.
4 votes for Mr. Nelson, 2 for Ms. Biggs Levy, 1 for Mr. Dumas.
It is 4 votes for Nelson, 2 for Big Levy, and 1 for Dumas.
Round 157. Ms. Winfrey Carter.
Biggs Levy.
Ms. Burns is absent. Ms. Mashat.
Nelson.
Mr. Pfeiffer.
Dumas.
Mr. Jarrett. Mr. Alamin. Ms. Lewis.
Nelson.
Ms. Priestley.
Nelson.
It's 2 votes for Ms. Biggs Levy, 4 votes for Mr. Nelson, 1 vote for Mr. Dumas.
So we have 2 votes for Big Levy, 4 for Nelson, and 1 for Dumas.
Round 158. Ms. Burns is absent. Ms. Mashat.
Carrie Nelson.
Mr. Pfeiffer.
Dumas.
Mr. Jarrett. Mr. Alamin. Ms. Lewis.
Nelson.
Ms. Priestley.
Nelson.
Ms. Winfrey Carter.
Biggs Levy.
That's 4 votes for Mr. Nelson, 1 vote for Mr. Dumas, 2 votes for Ms. Biggs Levy.
That is 4 for Nelson, 2 for Big Levy, 1 for Dumas.
Round 159, Ms. Mashat.
Carrie Nelson.
Mr. Pfeiffer.
Dumas.
Mr. Jarrett. Mr. Alamin. Ms. Lewis.
Nelson.
Ms. Priestley.
Nelson.
Ms. Winfrey Carter.
Biggs Levy.
Ms. Burns is absent. That's 4 votes for Mr. Nelson, 1 vote for Mr. Dumas, 2 for Ms. Biggs Levy.
4 votes for Nelson, 2 for Big Levy, 1 for Dumas.
Round 160. Mr. Pfeiffer.
Dumas.
Mr. Jarrett. Mr. Alamin. Ms. Lewis.
Nelson.
Ms. Priestley.
Nelson.
Ms. Winfrey Carter.
Biggs Levy.
Ms. Mashat.
Nelson.
It's 1 vote for Mr. Dumas, 2 votes for Ms. Biggs Levy, 4 votes for Mr. Nelson.
4 votes for Nelson, 2 for Big Levy, and 1 for Dumas.
Round 161. Mr. Jarrett. Mr. Alamin. Ms. Lewis.
Nelson.
Ms. Priestley?
Nelson.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Biggs Levy.
Ms. Mashat?
Nelson.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Dumas.
It's 2 votes for Ms. Biggs Levy, 4 for Mr. Nelson, 1 for Mr. Dumas.
4 votes for Carrie Nelson, 2 for Biggs Levy, 1 for Dumas.
Round 162. Mr. Alamin? Ms. Lewis?
Nelson.
Ms. Priestley?
Nelson.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Biggs Levy.
Ms. Mashat?
Carrie Nelson.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Dumas.
Mr. Jarrett? 4 votes for Mr. Nelson, 2 for Ms. Biggs Levy, 1 for Mr. Dumas.
4 votes for Carrie Nelson, 2 for Biggs Levy, 1 for AC Dumas.
Round 163. Ms. Lewis?
Nelson.
Ms. Priestley is not in. Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Biggs Levy.
Ms. Mashat?
Carrie Nelson.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Dumas.
Mr. Jarrett? Mr. Alamin? It's 3 votes for Mr. Nelson, 2 votes for Ms. Biggs Levy, 1 for Mr. Dumas.
3 votes for Carrie Nelson, 2 for Biggs Levy, and 1 for Dumas.
Round 164. Ms. Priestley is not in. Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Biggs Levy.
Ms. Mashat? Mr. Pfeiffer?
Dumas.
Mr. Jarrett? Mr. Alamin? Ms. Lewis?
Nelson.
It's 2 votes for Ms. Biggs Levy, 3 for Mr. Nelson, 1 for Mr. Dumas.
3 votes for Nelson, 2 for Biggs Levy, and 1 for Dumas.
Round 165. Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Biggs Levy.
Ms. Mashat?
Carrie Nelson.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Dumas.
Mr. Jarrett? Mr. Alamin? Ms. Lewis?
Nelson.
Ms. Priestley is not in. 2 votes for Ms. Biggs Levy, 3 for Mr. Nelson, 1 for Mr. Dumas.
We have 3 for Carrie Nelson, 2 for Biggs Levy, and 1 for Dumas.
Round 166. Ms. Mashat?
Carrie Nelson.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Dumas.
Mr. Jarrett? Mr. Alamin? Ms. Lewis?
Nelson.
Ms. Priestley is not in. Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Biggs Levy.
3 votes for Mr. Nelson, 1 for Mr. Dumas, 2 for Ms. Biggs Levy.
3 for Nelson, 2 for Biggs Levy, and 1 for Dumas.
Round 67. Mr. Pfeiffer?
Dumas.
Mr. Jarrett? Mr. Alamin? Ms. Lewis?
Nelson.
Ms. Priestley?
Nelson.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Biggs Levy.
Ms. Mashat?
Nelson.
It's 1 vote for Mr. Dumas, 2 for Ms. Biggs Levy, 4 for Mr. Nelson.
We have 4 for Carrie Nelson, 2 for Biggs Levy, and 1 for Dumas.
Round 168. Mr. Jarrett? Mr. Alamin? Ms. Lewis?
Nelson.
Ms. Priestley?
Nelson.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Biggs Levy.
Ms. Mashat?
Nelson.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Dumas.
2 votes for Ms. Biggs Levy, 4 votes for Mr. Nelson, 1 vote for Mr. Dumas.
4 votes for Nelson, 2 for Biggs Levy, 1 for Dumas.
Madam Chair,
Go ahead, Ms. Pfeiffer.
motion to table until the next council meeting.
Support.
All right, there's been a motion to table the 3rd Ward appointment to the next council meeting, supported by the councilwoman in the 4th Ward. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns is absent. Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett? Yes. Mr. Alamin? The vote is 7 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 7 yes, 0 no. The 3rd Ward appointment has been tabled until the next council meeting. So now we will move on to the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Pfeiffer, could you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so now it's time for the prayer of blessing. But before we do that, we would like to acknowledge anyone that would like to pay homage to someone that passed on. Do we have anyone?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead, Ms. Winfrey Carter.
I would like to have a moment of silent prayer for the family of Mr. Larry Todd Miller. He was a 5th Ward constituent, and we're going to miss Mr. Miller deeply. So a moment of silence for him and his family.
All right. Anyone else? All right, seeing that there's no one else, I would like to acknowledge a near and dear friend of mine, Ms. LaToya Johnson and her family. All right, and so as I move to the prayer portion, I would like to ask a member of Bethel if they would like to come up to the lectern and lead us in prayer for our meeting.
May we all bow our heads for a moment of prayer. Oh, Heavenly Father, Supreme Being in the universe, once again we come before you and say thank you for allowing us to see one more day, to breathe one more breath. We ask that you put an anointing on every family that's represented here tonight, that you put a hedge of protection around every family that's here tonight, and that you allow us to do the business for the good of this city. All these things we ask in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Next, thank you so much. Next is the reading of the disorderly person city code subsection. Any person that persists in disrupting this meeting will be in violation of the Flint City Code section 3110, disorderly conduct, assault and battery, and disorderly persons, and will be subject to arrest for a misdemeanor. Any person who prevents the peaceful and orderly conduct of any meeting will be given 1 warning. If they persist in disrupting the meeting, that individual will be subject to arrest. Violators will be removed from the meeting. So now it's time for the request for changes to the, for agenda changes or any additions. Do we have any changes to the agenda?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead, Ms. Burns.
I would like to move Bethel up before appointments in the agenda.
All right.
I don't think it probably is.
Ready for appointments.
No. Do you think it is?
Okay.
Madam Chair, I withdraw that because it will probably go with the consent. Yeah.
All right, any more?
What do we do with Dennis?
Yep, so we're just now just making changes to the agenda or adding in additions. All right, so seeing that there's none, we will go ahead and we will proceed.
Yeah.
So next we have a public hearing. Public hearing 240341.6, the public hearing about the Robert Street vacation. So before we move forward, City Attorney, could you please give us a little bit of information about this public hearing?
This item is from, I believe, Building and Community Services. This is not an item that came from the City Attorney's Office.
Okay, understood. In the past, the attorney usually give a little insight about the hearing, so not a problem. So, yeah, got it. So is there anyone that could give a little insight about the public hearing before we proceed with the hearing about the Robert Street vacation?
She laughing at you because your face was talking. Well, don't blame no JWC.
Through you to the council, I'll start off and probably Chief will finish it up. But basically, the Robert Street vacation is a part of the police and fire training facility that has been a project of mine for probably the last, I don't know, 9-10 months. You all have already approved the purchase of the property that we received back from the land bank. You're gonna have if I'm not mistaken, it was a 10-lane gun range, classrooms and things like that for the police. The fire, you can kind of tell what you all were doing.
We're also going to renovate the existing fire station that's on the property. Renovating, and also adjacent to the fire station, we're going to put up a regional training tower. These towers are made of shipping containers that would be shipped here and designed for training, live burns inside, as well as extricating people from a building.
And both of these facilities are revenue generating for the city, because right now the police department, they have to go out to Shiawassee County when they have police shooting, target practice. I don't know what it costs, but I know it's probably somewhere in the area of $1,700 to $2,500 each time they go out there, and it's I think you only take about 10 to 12 people at a time, but at the same time when they go out there, those are people that's not protecting the city of Flint. So there was a conversation made with various municipalities, other police agencies, other fire agencies, prior to us brainstorming and coming up with this here ideal, and they all stated that they would be very appreciative and probably participating in this venture once we can get it off the ground. So basically, it's a public hearing. Like I said, we own everything. I think it's 6 vacant properties on it. I think 3 of them are in the ground, and I think 3 of the houses are up. So that's pretty much it. Just vacation of the property, because it's a whole square.
Through the chair.
Thank you so much. Go ahead, Ms. Gurley.
Also, the Planning Commission has already reviewed the plan
Right.
and is recommending that council approve as well.
Correct.
All right, thank you. And thank you. All right. So now we will proceed with the public hearing about the Robert Street vacation. And so we want to remind all audience members that you must be germane exclusively to the Robert Street vacation. If you are not, you will be halted and reminded, and then the remainder of your time will be taken. All right. So we're looking to call up our first public speaker. Go ahead, Mr. Dumas.
My name is A.C. Dumas, and I'm a resident of the 3rd Ward. And the issue I have with, I remember when the fire station was built, and to give some of you clarity, you all know where Legacy Funeral Home is. It's right across the street from Legacy Funeral Home. And what troubles me, a gun shooting range, I can understand training for the firefighters. I mean, it's a great building, it never should have went abandoned, but in the neighborhood, I mean, you take those type of things, you know, like the gun shooting range out in wherever it's in Burden, where it's empty fields and stuff. You're talking about in a community where people live. Now, Robert Street is behind the fire station where the fire trucks come in and go out, you know, because they're large vehicles. But a gun shooting range in the heart of the 3rd, well, not the heart of the 3rd, but in the 3rd Ward where residents live, you wouldn't take that over in the 8th Ward. You wouldn't take that over to the 9th Ward. You would not. And I don't care if the Planning Commission or whoever, that is absolutely absurd to put a gun shooting range in the 3rd Ward. I don't know who had that vision. I don't know where that vision came from. Trained firefighters, that's good. But, you know, bullets don't have eyes. So I'm thoroughly against it. I am thoroughly against it. A shooting range? You can't make that make sense. All right then, I said what I said, and I meant what I said. And I'm standing on what I said. I'm a resident of the 3rd Ward. But if I wasn't a resident of the 3rd Ward, if I was any other ward, I would speak against a shooting range in the city of Flint. See, they had a nice police academy over there, but they sold that to the dope house. St. John, Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Now they want to put it across the street from the funeral home. I guess it may be good business for him if somebody gets shot.
Next speaker. Next speaker.
Hello, I'm R.L. Mitchell. Speaking to this, all of a sudden, this gun range and fight stuff right in the middle of 3rd Ward, and we ain't got no 3rd Ward councilman yet. And about that reminded me of Hurley Hospital, trying to get all the doctors that think they got away with them operations, and then everybody gonna get, then they introduce gun shield. First time I was introduced to gun shield, I didn't know what that stuff was. I was working at truck assembly. And my committee man, I said, hey, Mitchell, these people keep coming to us about you owe the debt at Vogues. If you don't pay that debt, let's pay it. But I found out what's a little junior high in the Senac neighborhood. A little girlfriend that charged all kind of stuff. And they showed me her name, but I refused to do something about it. They said, look, sir, if you want to continue to work here, you can work here, but you ain't get no money in your check. I said, bet, you watch and see. I'll do, you think, just like that fireman, them two doctors was up here a few minutes ago? One of them was the fire chief. He was on public TV, he said the people in Flint is terrorists. And nobody checked him about, that's why he put the stuff in the third ward, and they listened to everything that little black dude with that Ed Teller dude talking about. Every time some black talk about me saying we liars, handkerchief head, Negroes, stuff like that, what that mean. But then,
Mr. Mitchell, Mr. Mitchell, stay germane to the Robert Street vacation.
Stop the, hey, you taking my time, lady. Like I say, like the Robert Street vacation. They ain't no, in Flint, and they told me to pick a lawyer, sir. The white one or the one, Robinson. They said, why you want to pick Robinson? Because he black. I said, because he black, that's what. I did. And now the dude, he lost all my papers, but I still kept them. And you see what they doing to black people in Flint? The Vogues over there with TV5 right now, that spot right there, they tore it down. And that girl, I'm supposed to have married the girl when I was 13 years old.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Mitchell.
Girl, I ain't do what you
That's your time. Have a seat.
Hey, watch out! You better watch out. Who you
Mr.
talking to,
Mitchell,
lady.
that will be your first warning if you proceed. So
Like
have a seat. That is your time.
All that.
Thank you. Next public speaker.
Hi, I just had a question in regards to the gun range. Normally, gun ranges are on the outskirts, out in the country, in the city. So the noise, I just wonder if they're gonna be using dummy rounds or live rounds. And if they're gonna be doing this, I know they mentioned the containers. If they're gonna be able to, the residents, the noise, the shooting, if they're gonna be using live rounds outside. There's homes over there, so they definitely be hearing that. So I don't know if anybody's actually checked that to see if they have or not.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Next speaker.
We already got too many gunshots in the third ward. We already can't sleep at night in the third ward because of gunshots. Yeah, but it's really in the third ward. Really in the third ward. Really in the first ward too? Man, we don't need that there. Point blank. And if y'all would really go and ask some third ward residents that maybe live by there, you'll find out they feel the same way we do. So before y'all make y'all decision, I'll suggest y'all postpone it until y'all go and talk to a whole lot of third ward residents. So, and get their opinion about what should be done. Thank you.
Next public speaker.
They're enclosed, and this one's actually state of the art, and it's going to bring in revenue. And where you're located at, it is, the materials, it's the same.
So one more call for speakers. Okay, seeing we don't have any, this public hearing is now closed.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Mr. Pfeiffer.
Motion to adopt 240341.6.
All right, motion on the floor to adopt resolution 240341.
Point of information.
Wait a minute, hold on. So it is a motion on the floor to adopt this resolution 240341.6 by the councilman in the 8th Ward, supported by the councilman in the 7th Ward. What is your request for information?
Did you know that the .6 is the hearing and not the actual resolution?
We can adopt, make a motion to adopt after the public hearing.
But that's not the right resolution number.
Okay, so what we do, we just pause, we defer to the clerk. So Madam Clerk, is it possible, is this the correct resolution number for us to adopt, 240341.6?
.6 refers to the public hearing.
Motion to adopt .1.
There we go. So you say there's a motion to adopt point one?
Support.
All right, so when we say point one, we're talking about 240341.1?
Correct.
Okay. And I heard support from the council. All right, from Ms. Priestley. All righty, any discussion?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Ms. Burns.
I do want to, if through you two, Mr. Taylor, if you could come up, and as you're walking, for adoption of this one, the Robert Street, which is, I know Mr. Dumas and people were concerned. This is a state-of-the-art facility. The state-of-the-art facility is indoors. It is a revenue. It will receive revenue. Currently, our Flint police officers they're not in, even in our county, they go to Shiawassee County to make sure they're certified. And that was the word that I believe that you were looking for, that their certification, they have to shoot so many hours. And with them shooting so many hours, it has to be certified. Also with the fire training, having it to be a state-of-the-art, it will make sure that with the training and then the hours that they have continued education for police and fire, that it can now be done in the city of Flint. They can remain on duty along with the fire department, where they can take the whole truck, who's over on that truck, over there to the facility, and so can the officers. So to keep more officers in our city, I am supporting this. It is an inside gun range. I shoot. I go to inside gun ranges. I do. You know, and it's safe. We have one in the 8th Ward, Sapanic. And I that's where I got mine from. And Sapanic, that's where I go to shoot, and you don't hear it. You don't hear it. It's secure. It's the materials, and with having this, it is a revenue. It adds to our revenue, and it's state of the art. It'll be nice to have, because one, we have a difficult time maintaining our police and our fire, because once they get the experience, they take that experience over to other municipalities, and they get a bonus and they leave. So I am in support of this and keeping so they don't drive all the way to Shiawassee County to keep their certification. So I support this. I support this project because one thing with public safety, we know that our community is changing, especially right down there I think that's the end of it for Buick, where the Ashley Capitol, I think that's their last building will be built down there. So it'll be commercial, but it's indoors. The proper materials will be used, and we have inside gun shooting ranges. Now, some out if you go to Williamson and some of the others, you can go indoor or outdoor. This one is solely indoor, solely. And so I do support this. If there's anything you'd like to say, Chief?
Let me say something.
You must be a good shot.
I'm a real good shot. People say because of my ex I was, but no. No, I'm a real good shot. I don't want nobody shooting at me, and I don't want to shoot at them.
But as you're saying, I failed to state that it was indoors. It is the state of the art. It's even to the point where the lead, they'll be able to collect the lead and turn around and sell that, to people, other gun people that make bullets. So you have one, as you stated, you have the one on 12th and Fenton Road. You had the old one out there on Center Road by Court Street. And then you have the one right there on Linden Road across from the Genesee Valley. And all my years as a police in Los Angeles, for Los Angeles Police Department, like you say, you had them indoors and you had them outdoors.
And so we do have one so that people will not, the one that it costs too much money in the police department.
Correct.
There is one and has been one since the building has been built that is here, but it is out of date. It's not safe. And so it is a need to have it because it used to be here when we had approximately 250 police on the street. And so keeping this here is crucial. It's crucial to the safety of our street. We know that people around here, everybody carry a gun. Open carry is the new thing. You don't even have to be licensed. So I am supporting this, and the question was, will there be live ammunition? Yes, there is live, rounds that you shoot, and we already have it. This will be in compliance with every state, federal, and local law, and it's a convenience that we need in this city. Anything else that y'all want to say? All right, thank you.
All right.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Ms. Priestley.
This is just real quick. In regards to the indoor shooting range, you can't hear it outside the building.
Soundproof.
You hear nothing. They would not even know people were in there shooting if they lived next door to it. If you want any confirmation of that, Williams has one of the the most up-to-date shooting ranges in this county. Just drive over there and go in the store. You can barely hear it inside the store, and you can't hear it at all outside. Thank you.
Anyone else in the first round? No one else in the first round. I'll go ahead and take my time. I do not want to be holding the city back. Well, if you go over there to the 3rd Ward, because that's where I serve and where I live, that corner is empty with high grass all the time. So when I hear people say that they don't want it and, it's not a good idea, it is way better than what's going on right there. We have an abandoned fire station that they're repurposing. There's not even really any neighbors over there. There's none. And across the street, we have a couple burnt out houses. These dollars are being used to develop an area. And this area that they're developing is going to bring in income revenue. So instead of us going to Shiawassee, we can stay home, and then Shiawassee can come to us. Other people can come to us. The move that we're making sure that we're moving into the new century, making money, and helping to aesthetically beautify these areas. For too long, other places been getting this kind of investment, this kind of good traffic. And on the north side, we're stuck with garbage. We're tired of it. And so this is a positive step in the right direction. They have these ranges, just like Councilwoman Burns said, over there on with that 12th and Fenton, they have that. We want to make sure that we have something on the north side. The time is out for us foregoing great things happening on the north side. So if we can bring an indoor state-of-the-art gun range to the north side, because I ride down Stewart every day to get to work and go about my travels. I'm tired of looking at nothing. This is bringing something. And I'm going to vote for something, because we had nothing for too long. So now we're going to move on to the second round. Anyone else want to speak? Anyone else want to speak in the second round? All right, so with that being said, we will go ahead and we will vote. Resolution 240341, the Robert Street vacation. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett? Yes. Mr. Alamin? Yes. Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Vote is 8 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 8 yes, 0 no. That resolution passes. So now it's time for public comment. First speaker, Madam Clerk.
The first speaker is R.L. Mitchell.
Hello, I'm R.L. Mitchell. Like what I was saying about, I worked at General Motors Truck Assembly. I was getting $37.84 an hour. You didn't know I was getting that much back, way back in 73 and 74. 4 years straight, I was getting that much until they said, sir, we got a situation here on your, I said, ain't nobody gonna take my, they said, that's a gun shield. Gun, and they tried to have money all in the bank, down in Michigan National Bank. And then all of a sudden, They said, you got to come and get all your stuff out of the bank, sir. That's when they invented Chase Bank. Because we gonna gun shield all your, I said, you ain't doing nothing. Just like that Donald Trump over on Ballinger Road, up in that preacher woman church. He said something, she snatched the phone out of his hand, and he ran out of the church, him and all of his Jamaican cops on motorcycles, the black ones. And I was just getting off the bus coming in, they looked at me like I'm the one to stop. So I tried to run back down, he was looking at me in my eye, after I was going, looked like a drunken clown. And that's just like, you looking like the fireman in that Tucker got look worse than a clown, right? Standing up here talking about a gun, and you, Second Ward, talking about nothing but bushes, and you tired of seeing stuff going by the soup kitchen every day, get the work around here. Thank you is, answer that, lady. Hello? Hello? See? And that fourth ward talking that stuff, talking about you won't even hear the gunshots in all that junk. They got armor, they got bullets can go through steel walls, steel bullets, and all that junk. And we over there living not only half a mile from that junk, just because you talk with a forked tongue, acting like you for the dope boys. I mean, you can smell it a mile away across the Flint River over on the east side. Took it over whole St. John. That's where the police used to practice in the old place where the dope boys got now. Think you take it over, like the black people, they ain't never lived over there before and all that. And you go over there reminiscing, they say, what you doing over here? I said, get on the ground. They said, what's your business? I started to, like y'all say, Air Teller started to snatch poppycock. I started to snatch them. I don't care if you had a gun or not. Like that General Foreman at General Motors talking all this stuff in it to people like they don't count, putting up. And you up there, they get people like you talking for you in my shack. When I say something about a darky, you up there talking, shut up, you. Who you think you? What you looking at? Who you looking at now, lady? What? Hey, who's your pastor anyway? You know anything about a pastor? Reverend, but all that junk up. Hey,
all right, next public speaker.
The next speaker is Rose Morrow.
Hello, everyone. I'm Rose Morrow, and I live in the First Ward. I just had a couple questions. Maybe somebody can one of the council members can come back and answer it. In regards to Hasselbring, there's still work that needs to be done. We all know that. But nothing beats a failure than a try. I believe the council person stated, and correct me if I was wrong, that the council can't do anything. But I feel like the council can. You could fight for us. Fight for Hasselbring. And the seniors and the residents. City of Flint residents just don't use that center. Residents from the entire Genesee County. You stated a new resolution need to be presented. Who could type up a new resolution ASAP? That's a question. Who is willing to call the mayor tonight? Question mark. Question, you stated the mayor, correct me if I'm wrong, you stated the mayor would veto it if it was one written up. Did the mayor already state that he would veto it? Have anybody asked? Or did the mayor say he wasn't going to do it? He wasn't going to pass it? So correct me if I'm wrong, but if you guys could please help Hasselbring, I would appreciate it. In regards to St. Mark's, I'm respectfully asking that the council, if you could put it back on the agenda for next council meeting. I'm also asking that the council pass the resolution granting St. Mark's the $50,000. We all should be good Christians, and we all should want to help everybody. Thank you.
Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is Billy Dantzler.
Did you say Billy Dantzler?
Yes.
Yeah, not here.
Next speaker is Ms. Taylor.
She's gone as well.
Harold Woodson.
I won't take my full time. I just want to thank the council for the consideration of passing the resolution providing more ARPA funds to Bethel United Methodist Church as we continue to do the work in the community. Thank you.
Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Rosa Thomas Anderson.
Did you say Arthur Woodson?
No, Ms. Thomas Anderson. Next speaker is I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I wear 2 hearing aids, but I don't hear. I'm sorry. Now, I'm supposed to be talking about Bethel and, okay. When we talk about Bethel, that's something that I'm passionate about. When we talk about the city of Flint, that's something that I'm passionate about. Because I do realize the resources that Bethel have supplied in, we just celebrated our 100th anniversary, so we've been here for a long time. And we have been in the community for a long time. When we was on the south side at 12th Street, we always offered our building for any organization that needed space for meetings and stuff of that sort. And we still do the same thing over on Ballinger. Okay. I was trying to think of something that we could talk about that. I know that we told you that we do the clothing giveaway. We also co-sponsor a lot of the activities that we do. We have volunteers that do the work. We work with Catholic Outreach during the month of our June, July, August, and if the weather permits in September, we do a clothing giveaway in our parking lot because that's something that is needed in the community. We always look for the things that the community need to see how we can supply it. Did I answer the question? All right.
The next speaker is Percy Knapp.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Percy Knapp, and I'm the chairperson of the House of Brings Senior Center Board. And I just want this directed to Councilman Alameen. Explain to this council why you can't put a motion on the floor to bring that lease back to this council. We agreeing that we signed that lease. We want to try to comply to the lease. We want to bring it back so we can go forward from there. And plus, with the misinformation that you said, the city council was the one that shot down your proposal with your monies, not Hasselbrink. Of course, they were saying that was like Robin Paul to play Peter, stuff like that. But that's misinformation. If the mayor don't agree with this, will somebody talk to him? We signed this lease. What we asking is to bring it back to the floor. Explain why you cannot put a motion on the floor to review this. That's what's puzzling me. That it can be did. All you gotta do is put the motion on the floor, and we go from there. We suggested you bring the lease back because we signed it. The mayor was in agreement with that, so I don't know what done happened here. You are, and on that, so you went through the community and spoke with some people, they was complaining about the people that was running Hasselgreen. I'm willing to say it wasn't no more than 5 people. The same ones that complain all the time. That always wants to have their way. I don't think it was the community as a whole. But I charge you to put this motion on the floor. To bring this lease back before this council. And if the mayor don't agree with it, somebody talk to him. And if what he says about the lease, that they can't bring it back, I want somebody to explain that to me why they can't. That's what I have.
Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Next speaker is Shirley Wilson Johnson.
If she's going.
Next speaker is Arthur Woodson.
He's going as well.
Next speaker is Beverly Biggs Levy.
My name is Beverly Biggs Levy. I'm in the 3rd Ward. I'm sitting here thinking today that in November, I won the election, but you were going around telling people don't vote for the 3rd Ward because of the mere fact that y'all wasn't going to make it no good, as I would say. It was no good, didn't count. Then, looking last week, Leon said my name. He was the first one to say Beverly Biggs Levy. Liddell, you looked at him like he had lost your friendship. Judy looked at him like, what the heck? And when it got to the 7th Ward, everybody else said, Jerry said my name, Tanya said my name, Dennis said Dumas. He said, no, I want to change it to Beverly Biggs Levy. 9th Ward said my name. It was good. But the clerk, 7th Ward raised her hand. He wanna change his. He wanna change his. Like I'm looking at you, Tanya, like you said. This is the 2nd time I was elected, and they took it from me. The 2nd. And the devils can't look up because they know they're wrong. Them 3 devils, they know they're wrong. Candace made him change his vote. Made him change it. She didn't ask him, she made him change his vote. Like they say, roll back the tape. That's what needs to be happening, rolling back the tape. You can see how much, I got 57 minutes. Keep looking up there, Liddell. And like I said, what I can say behind somebody's back, I can say it to their face. LaShonda, she's here now. She was the same one helped me knock on them doors to have you remove out your seat. I ain't ashamed to say nothing. But that's who you want, right? So if she got signatures for you, what you think she gonna do when she get that seat? She gonna backfire on you. Just think about it. Have a blessed day.
The next speaker is Sandra Jobin.
So she's gone as well. So hearing that was the last public speaker, correct?
No, that wasn't the last speaker.
It was not?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought I heard you say the last. Proceed.
The next speaker is Liberty Bell.
Hi, Council. My name is Liberty Bell, and I'm in the 1st Ward. I would like to say Happy Black History Month again, and I would like to talk on behalf of the 3rd Ward seat. When y'all decide to put somebody in that seat, please make sure that they know Robert's Rules of Order. And in regards to putting somebody in that seat, please make sure that they know the Flint Charter and the city ordinance. When putting somebody in that seat, please remember Quincy's legacy as a water warrior and honor the lawnmower that he had. And the spring is coming soon, so you want somebody that's going to get out there and cut that grass and keep the blight down in that area. Please put an individual in that seat who will not get the city sued for defamation of character. Please elect someone to that seat who will give Rayvon justice and his family closure and justice. And please, when electing somebody to that seat, remember our late Councilman Eric Mays, which grandkids didn't have hats and gloves. And as our civic duty as a community, I feel like we could have taken care of that, but Lentil Law Group did not. So again, please, when putting somebody in that seat, remember those things and honoring our city. As far as Robert Street, myself, like Councilwoman Tanya Burns, I do use the Fenton and 12th Street, and I believe that's in the 8th Ward, as a gun range. And I think that it would be beneficial to the 3rd Ward for us to have that over there. And as far as Hasselbring goes, does the city is there anyone educated on the millage that's supposed to go to the senior citizens and how that's operated? Can you please give us more information, because I'm really confused about Hasselbring at this point? Thank you.
All right, next speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is Kawana Mack.
Boy, I couldn't wait till tonight. Leon was over there rocking and a rolling. AC Dumas, Rich Jones, Biggs. 10 minutes, he didn't know what happened. Mashat almost shat on herself. And Judy, I thought you was gonna throw up. You looked so sick. They was finna have to look at them books. You cooking them books. But I want to get back on Leon. He was on the podcast, said people was telling him they tired of this circus down here. Well, it seemed like you ran to join this circus down here. Dun, 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 dun. Come down here and be on the board if you want to kick the seniors out of Hasselbring. If you want to sell people that bought their house in the land bank. Now they got a landlord. Yeah, like I said, Leon, you probably got a whooping last week, didn't you? Huh? Ooh, he's sitting up tall, everything. But I say, hey, the city need to get our pipes fixed, this water. We shouldn't be paying for poison water and buying clean water. I just say, hey, 1, 2, 4, and 7 can get in that trash can that says Mayor Neely, Flint Strong, and roll right down the Poison River. And I'll see y'all next meeting. Poppycock!
All right, next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Next speaker is AC Dumas.
Again, my name is AC Dumas, and I do reside in the 3rd Ward for 42 years. I live where I say I live. I took an oath to the clerk not to purge myself. I live on Rankin Street. I want to say this about the gun range. I said what I said about the gun range. Indoors, outdoors, whatever. I don't support the gun range in the 3rd Ward. I do support the vacation of Robert Street for the fire department. And I explained that to Chief Wiggins. I remember when the fire department was built. I want to address 4th Ward Councilperson Priestley. Ms. Priestley, I know Robert's Rules of Order better than you and probably anybody sitting up there, because you said you wasn't going to vote for me, and that's good. I accept whoever don't vote for me, because I didn't know Robert's Rules of Order. Well, most people know that I have been president of organization, the largest organization, civil rights organization in the world. And we're guided by not only what our rules are, but Robert's Rules of Order. I know the council rules. And Mr. Person want to know why it can't be brought up, because the goofy council rule says this: only a chairperson can bring a resolution, or the city, or the president, or the vice president, or the mayor. So Mr. Leon Alameen cannot bring a resolution up. That is the goofy council rules. So I know the council rules, Ms. Priestley. I know Robert's Rules of Order. And as I want to support Brother Woodson, and I didn't know who he was, but Brother Woodson, public servant. Did you all know he was president of the Board of Education? Whole lot of stuff y'all don't know that I know. And of course, Bethel, I support Hasselbring. I support St. Mark's. I support a lot of good things. I've been around. I've been around before all of you all. I know the council. I am the other than Wilbur Papa Jared, Effie's what? Baby boy, have attended more council meetings than any of y'all collectively. Collectively. I've been here a long time. And so I support the things that's good for the community. And the gun range in the 3rd Ward is not.
Thank you, Mr. Dumas. Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is Rich Jones.
Part of being a man is admit when you're wrong. And I was wrong when I was, talking about that on gun range. But I still say y'all should talk to the residents in that area. I still stand on that. Liberty, I thought that issue with Eric Kids was over with when it was put on Facebook and social media. That was a while ago. But tomorrow, them kids will have them coats and shoes, so don't even worry about that. I really thought it was over. That's my bad. So now another thing I'm not going to backtrack on is my stance about Rayvon. He was shot in his back 6 times. He was shot in the back of his head 1 time. The first time I spoke on it, I said he had a gun. And ever since that day, I've been saying he was shot in the back. I don't care about their investigation going back looking on his Facebook page. That first day I also said, we need to do something. Help these kids put these damn guns down. But yet, only person that stood up amongst you 8 was Leon Alameen. Some of y'all spoke out finally after Dana Nelson made her, I don't got nothing good to say about that. That was horrible. Horrible decision. So, And I challenge those in the back corner over there to start talking about justice for Rayvon. I challenge the person that finally spoke up to keep speaking up. Let me tell y'all something. I went to Benton Harbor this weekend. Talked to the lady Democrats up there. Gave me their personal cell phone numbers when I told them about what was going on with Rayvon. He was shot in his back 6 times, in the back of his head once. Next council meeting when I come here, I'm going to play a recording for y'all. It was a shooting in Flint, Michigan. A shooting at each other, you know. Both people that was shooting their guns was arrested. One of them was shot. Then one of them was killed. That young man was shot 6 times in the back, once in the back of the head. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
That was the last speaker for this meeting.
Okay, so that was the last speaker, so public comment is now closed, and now it's time for council response. Anyone would like to respond to the residents?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead, Ms. Burns.
I want to say this for Rich Jones. I know that family when he was shot, and I've unfortunately had to keep track of all the shootings that we have had with the 10 or 11 children that were shot last year in the city of Flint. I've spoken, I will continue. My voice was publicly silent because I'm gonna say the month before, there were some issues with him, and I didn't want that to get out there. I didn't, where a gun was pulled on a senior, where some more issues. And so sometimes we have to stay in the background and let the police do the investigation. Now that the investigation and the Attorney General has spoken, it's now my time to speak. There's an appropriate time. Do I feel someone running away, being shot in the back? They said he had a gun. I haven't seen the video. I did FOIA for the video. I haven't received it. Because when you get out here and make these accusations, there's the lives of everybody. And the mother, Tasha, is going through enough for me to put bad information out there. I don't need to hype myself on someone else's tragedy like that until we get the information. I haven't seen the video, and I'm being honest, I don't want to see the full video. The little snippet and clip of it when I know someone is running and they shot in the back, that's trouble right there for me. So I'm waiting still for other information. So don't check me, check yourself on that and get your facts straight, or come to me and answer your phone when I call you. Unblock me.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So what? So, Mr. Jones, Mr. Jones, I'm going to just bring you to order.
Madam Chair.
I'm bringing him
Give
to order.
him a warning.
And so, Ms. Burns, I also want to add that according to council rules, you can't be argumentative with residents.
Point of order. I was not being argumentative.
Ms. Burns.
He was.
Ms. Burns, again, regardless, we have a duty to rise to a higher standard. So as Mr. Jones knows, he cannot yell out. And in response to you, you can't go back and forth and be argumentative with the resident.
Point of order, I said to you, we have a right to bring anybody to order.
Ms.
Point
Burns,
of order, I'm not done. Point of order.
What is your point?
We have a right to bring any person to order, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm gonna go back and refer to Rule 27.2. You cannot attack and be argumentative with audience members.
Request for information, when was the attack? When was the attack?
Oh, okay, well, I will tell you. You were talking to him, telling him.
No, that was in my statement.
Again,
Unblock
your statement before you said, this is not a back and forth. You got nasty with the man in the audience, so you can't do that. So I'm encouraging you to be mindful of Rule 27.2 when addressing audience members, and we are asking the audience members to please not yell out because you will get a warning. Anyone else would like to speak in the council comment?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead, Ms. Winfrey Carter.
you know what, in response to whatever rule you threw out there, you need to follow the rule. It's a double standard up here. How many times have you been argumentative with members of the residents, the audience? You can't, you know what, you just really need to stop. Anyway, I would like to say to Ms. Thomas, years ago, Ms. Thomas, and this is in reference to Bethel United Methodist Church. Years ago, I went to Wiley College in Marshall, Texas, and Bethel United Methodist Church used to host our choir. Every year, we would come to Bethel to sing, to render a concert here in the city of Flint, because we had several members in the choir from Flint, Michigan. And I was one. I received a choir scholarship to attend Wiley College. And so I wanted to help you to remember that. You know, they host the, choirs, HBCUs to come and sing. If anybody know of HBCU, Bethel United Methodist Church, great hostess. So I wanted to point that out, and thank you guys for all of the work that you do over at Bethel United Methodist. Thank you.
Anyone else would like to speak?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead, Mr. Amin.
I just would like to acknowledge Faith Temple Church of God in Christ on their 65th homecoming celebration, and for the invitation to join them this February 16th. They're doing some amazing work over there in the First Ward, and I just wanted to give them acknowledgement. Thank you.
All right, anyone else? So seeing that there is no one else, I will go ahead and I will take my time. So Mr. Dumas, I would definitely like to address what you said in terms of you being the, I guess, on one of the oldest, one of the most respected boards, you know, NAACP. That's a lot. And they have a lot of, weight in this country. And so I would like to emphasize that they stand for civil rights and justice for everyone. So a major reason why I don't support you on council is because you made the racist, not the racist, but the homophobic comments. And I know that my colleague in the 8th Ward, when they spoke out against Bishop Martin about making homophobic comments, and you said that I said what I said, whether I'm a member of a civil rights organization or not, said Mr. Dumas. My religious convictions outweigh civil rights and all that. So that is a big reason. My colleague spoke to the fact and said that they don't support people that have homophobic agendas, and that is a reason why I can't support you, because I support all residents. So I just really want to be clear so you understand where I'm coming from, and that organization, they don't stand for that. They stand for civil rights for all people. So we want to make sure that the members of this body that say that they stand against people that are against everyone's civil rights, that they would take that in mind as they vote. And if they would like to see the documentation of what I'm talking about, I do have that on hand. And then speaking to my colleague in the 6th Ward, we're referring to Rule 27.3 that states that you cannot be argumentative. I understand that you might not care for Mr. Jones, that's perfectly fine, but what we cannot do is be nasty in tone and also in rhetoric as we address the members in the crowd. And so it was quite obvious what happened. I'm not here to go back and forth. And just like Ms. Winfrey Carter said, well, she didn't say much, but we want to make sure that we keep it going. So now we are moving on to the consent agenda. What's the pleasure of the body?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Ms.
Move to approve consent agenda.
All right, any support? All right, supported by the councilman in the 1st Ward. Any discussion?
Madam Chair.
Yes.
I'd like to separate 250033.
All right. 250033. Want to make, okay, that's on page 6.
Correct.
All right. And so I also would like to mention that the minutes will also be passed in the consent agenda as well, okay? All right. Any more?
Unless they're separated. Point of information. Unless they're separated.
Unless they're separated, you are correct.
We're separating the
Anyone else who would like to separate anything?
charging stations.
Okay, so seeing that we have nothing else, we're going to go ahead and we will put a motion on the floor to pass the consent agenda, and we are separating resolution 250, oh, you know what? I take that back. I would like to separate appointment 250037.
Who is that Joyce's?
7? What page is it on?
It's
Oh,
on
I see
page
it.
5.
I see it.
Okay. All right. So with those two resolutions separated, we'll call for, to pass the consent agenda. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
if I could request that the motion be amended to state that the minutes be placed on file with any corrections, administrative or otherwise. Also, for the record, 250037 is a .1. It was made a .1 in special affairs, just for the record.
Okay, so you said 250,
There's an extra 0 that doesn't belong, 250037.1.
Okay.
You separated, and then I'm asking that the minutes be placed on file with any corrections.
oh, okay. All right, so thank you. So we are passing the consent agenda, which will include, I want to make sure that I have it right, all minutes as posted without any with any corrections?
That's right.
All right, in addition to resolution 250037.1.
Well, you separated, I just wanted to note that for the record, it's a .1. It was amended in special affairs to a .1.
Okay, got it. All right, and so we are looking to pass resolution 250037.1 in the consent agenda as well. Thank you, Madam Clerk. All right, so, roll call.
So no. Correction. You separated, I'm sorry, point of order.
Go ahead.
Point of order. You separated 250037. So that was already separated. But what she was saying was that we turned into a .1 in special affairs. And then you just said you were looking to pass .1 in the agenda. So are we separating .1 or passing .1 with the agenda?
Hold on, 25003, oh, you are absolutely, right, thank you, I heard that. So 250037, it is now a .1, and so, yes, so I am separating 250037.1. And we are also separating 250042. All right. So I want to make sure that that's clear. Thank you for the clarity, Madam Vice President.
Got 7 votes for.
Oh, we did separate 4 too.
You did.
You
No, I
did.
didn't.
I did the charging stations.
I did the charging station, 250033 on page 6.
We're not separating
Oh,
No,
oh, wait a minute.
Nobody's
Wait a minute.
separating Bethel.
You are absolutely correct again. When Ms. Burns did the separation initially.
No,
She was going, she withdrew it.
I know, but I circled it, so, and I never
okay.
amended that.
Yeah.
All righty. All right, so we're looking, again, so thank you all for the correction. We're looking at separating 240341.
It won't be divided.
Point. Right. So we're separating two, and it's 250033 in addition to 250037.1. Those are the separations.
Correct.
All right, so go ahead and roll call, Madam Clerk. See what happened when you cheer and you don't eat? Go ahead, roll call.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer? Mr. Jarrett? Mr. Alamin? Ms. Lewis? Ms.
Yes.
Priestley?
Yes.
The vote is 8 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 8 yes, 0 no, so the consent agenda passes. So now we will move on to our first separation, and our first separation is 250,037.1. So what's the pleasure of the body?
Move to approve.
All right. So, is there any support? Supported by the councilman in the first ward. Any discussion? Okay, there. Any discussion? Yep, any discussion in the first round? Seeing that there is no discussion. Any discussion in the second round? All right, seeing that there is no discussion in the second round, I will go ahead and I will take my time. The reason why I separated this is because we're twofold. Ms. Joyce Ellis McNeil, she is currently the school board president. And the school board, they meet multiple nights a week. And so that's a big job that she currently has. And they meet again on various nights. So we have a history on this body where individuals do not show up. So if she was here, we can make sure that she's not in conflict with her school duties.
Request for information.
Go ahead.
How would she be able to answer that when the CWAC is not a standard scheduled meeting, and there is no scheduled meetings upcoming? So how, no regularly scheduled, we meet like once or twice a year. So how could she answer that?
Again, the school board, they meet on certain days. And so that's the conversation, that's what I'm saying. So I don't know. I don't know if she has the time commitment. So through you, not through you, so I would like to know, how often do they meet, the CWAC committee? Because we have people, we appoint people to this board, and they don't show. And I just want to make sure that her prior commitments will not conflict with her serving on this board, whether it is 1 day or 2 days, I don't know. But we want to make sure that the day that they do choose to have these meetings, that she's available. Because I know that they have school board meetings, I know 1 day is on a Wednesday, I'm not sure of the other day. But if they have the CWAC meeting on a Wednesday, then it looks like she won't be able to attend. And then that'll be a whole forfeiture of the 8th ward vote. So we just want to make sure that she's able to fulfill this commitment. So is she here tonight? Okay, I see she's not here. So I would love to send this back, to leave this here in council. So I heard the councilwoman in the 7th ward speak.
Not sure how to do what I'm trying to do. Point of information, request for information, I don't know. If we leave this in council, what happens is if she comes and it's on a night that is a lot going on, she may not be able to stay to speak. So I'm just trying to say, if the question is to ask her to come in to ask her this question, is leaving it here going to be best for her schedule, or how do we still get to hear from her just in case?
So it sounds like we can, well, you're the chair of special affairs. Will it be in order for us to move it to special affairs?
I'm asking the body what's best. I don't mind leaving it here, but I'm just saying, if you ask someone to come, they don't want to be here till 10 o'clock at night.
Oh, I definitely understand. So I would like to put a motion on the floor so we can put it in special affairs. So that way we can get the information at the beginning of the meeting and she can go about during her day. Because again, we want to make sure we're passing a lot of dollars, and this body it rarely meets quorum. So when they do meet, if they do meet once or twice a year, we want to make sure that the person that's charged to be there, that they will be there for the once or twice a year meetings. So that's all that I want to make sure that we
Request for
accomplish.
information.
Go ahead, Ms. Burns.
I'm sorry, are we we're in discussion, or where are we?
We're in the second round of discussion. for
We're in the
this.
second round?
And she's the only one who's speaking now, because everybody else didn't say anything.
Okay, are we opening this? So we're at the end, you're the last person to speak.
Yep.
I'm not.
And so I would like to move this resolution 250037.1 to special affairs. Is there any support?
Support.
All right, supported by the councilwoman in the 7th Ward. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Burns?
No.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
No.
Mr. Jarrett? No. Mr. Alamin? Yes. Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
No.
The vote is 4 yes, 4 no.
All right, so the vote is 4 yes, 4 no. So that resolution failed, excuse me. So now we are back to, I'll entertain another motion.
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
I make a motion that we approve.
It's already on the floor.
Oh,
All right. Well, it's time to vote since I was the last one to speak. So, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett? Yes. Mr. Alamin? Yes. Ms. Lewis?
No.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
The vote is 7 yes, 1 no.
The vote is 7 yes, 1 no, so that appointment passes. So now we are moving on to resolution 250033. What's the pleasure of the body?
Motion to approve.
All right. Motion to approve by the councilman in the 8th Ward. Any support? Supported by the councilman in the 1st Ward.
Chair.
Go ahead, Ms. Priestley.
Yes, there's no need to have discussion. I want it on the record that I'm voting no on this. We discussed it quite heavily in finance. I realize that the rest of the council will vote for it. However, I am against it, and that's why I separated it.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Mr. Pfeiffer.
Through you to Mr. Seamus.
So, Seamus, could you please approach the lectern?
Listen, I need to go repeat.
So I just want to be clear, because I think the news wires came across that they were halting EV charging dollars. Is this part of that?
No, this is, I've had nothing communicated to me that we are halting this. This was funding that was already designated prior to any new administration coming in this year.
This is a reimbursement though, right?
Yes,
So-
correct. But those dollars were already designated prior to the change in administration. And this is not state, this is DOE, direct from DOE.
Okay, so I just want to make sure before we spend these dollars that we're going to get reimbursed.
To further clarify, we will not spend any dollars in the event that we've been told that we cannot spend those dollars. I wouldn't come up here. If I was told we weren't allowed, I wouldn't go ahead.
I think it hit the news wires in between the,
correct.
in the last couple of days. So
yes.
it was after we approved it in committee.
Correct.
In between
Correct.
this that they were halting.
I have been told nothing different than things are going forward as normal with this specific program. I can't speak to other rollouts.
I would just make sure that double check.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Before we spend these dollars, since
for sure
they're not already intaked, and we gotta
100%. We're not going to eat any costs if we're not going to eat any costs.
Okay, that's it. I yield. Thank you.
All right, anyone else in the first round? Anyone else in the second round? Seeing there's no one else, we will go ahead and call for the vote for resolution 250033. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Pfeiffer? Yes. Mr. Jarrett? Yes. Mr. Alamin?
Yes.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley? No. Ms. Winfrey Carter? Is not in. Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat? Yes. Vote is 6 yes, 1 no.
The vote is 6 yes, 1 no, so that resolution passes. So now we are at the end of the agenda, and it is taking us to council. The council leadership. Here, go ahead and pass it down to the clerk.
We just did we're going back to council leadership. 909 million. It did pass. It passed, 7-1.
Okay, for the organization of the city council, unless we'll start with the vote for council president. And picking up where you last left off, we will be starting with round 711. And starting with Mr. Pfeiffer.
Winfrey
And
Carter.
Mr. Jarrett is not in. Mr. Alamin? Ms. Lewis?
Mashat.
Ms. Priestley?
Mashat.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Winfrey Carter.
Ms. Burns?
Winfrey Carter.
Ms. Mashat?
Candace Mashat.
That's 3 votes for Ms. Winfrey Carter. 4 votes for Ms. Mashat. Round 712. Starting with Mr. Jarrett.
Madam Clerk,
Ms. Winfrey Carter.
I would like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Support.
There's a motion to adjourn. And that vote is going to start with Mr. Jarrett. Yes. Mr. Alamin. Yes. Ms. Lewis.
Yes.
Ms. Priestley.
Yep.
Ms. Winfrey Carter.
Yes.
Ms. Burns.
Yes.
Ms. Mashat.
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer.
Yes.
The vote is 8 yes, 0 no.
Because Mr.
This council meeting is adjourned at 8:08 p.m.